probably a certain, maybe not brand, but a certain vibe of a podcast that lends itself, I bet, better towards going live versus something that.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to do someone's like fucking, their origin story on a live podcast because that's
right.
That's just better suited for like a regular release. But like we would do like our trip stuff or recaps or whatever. Like those work out well because you can get them out quick, and it's just giving people like all the context into it. So
it's that unique insight where people feel like they're hanging out in the room.
Yeah,
the one where you're watching it, you feel like we've heard a bunch. Got you guys on. I feel like I'm hanging out with you. I feel like y'all are hanging out with me in the garage on the TV with beers, or telling the wife, "Hey, guess what? We're listening to these idiots talk tonight." So I've got the living room. And those are a blast.
Yeah, those times we start off like drinking a beer. By the end of the night, there's a pyramid of beer cans. Like, I mean, not saying that we can't go back to that, but it's definitely like one of those things that. I think in the time when we were doing it, I don't know. I didn't really appreciate it, for what it was. I'm like, man, I got to stop getting hammered on these things, being more professional. And now
1 week later,
yeah,
you know what? Fuck that guy.
But yeah, that's just kind of the thing. It's like, that's when you make stuff like podcasts or YouTube videos or whatever, you're always kind of like trying to see what people are interested in or like what kind of vibe. And if you really think about it, we were doing those lives. Same thing Connor and I were talking about last night was at the height of COVID and all that shit.
Yeah.
So it's like more people were home, because we didn't even get the video aspect rolling until 2020. And so from 2020 to like 2023, I would just go live all the time because I didn't really know how to take these podcasts and edit them and polish them up,
Right.
And now that I do that, like those videos are more likely to get the big views, when you release it that way than the lives. But it's like the algorithm shit's always weird. Like one day it's like, we want you to go live more. And one day we want you to post more. We want you to do this more. It's like, it's never consistent. It's like the algorithm's always changing, which makes it hard to kind of figure out how to stay on top of whatever it is that you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
So as an opposing point of view, like anything, there's people that consume social media so differently. Yeah. So you can always be chasing the algorithm. It's got you here, there, back to here, back to there. But there's always going to be people that stay up and listen to it on a Friday night, or this is. And there's dudes that they don't stay up late. They're not. This is their in the truck on the way to a job site or whatever. There's people are always going to consume it how they want to consume it. So just giving them different options, I still think.
I thought it was good when we started being aware of the time that we would do these, like how long we'd be in them. Because realistically, if we're drinking on them, after 2.5, 3 hours, 3 hours max, it's just kind of garbage after that. You know what I mean? Or we start saying the same conversation over again.
It's been there for 4 hours.
Unless it's the situation where you feel like you're part of the room because you're watching it live.
Yeah,
and it's keep it going kind of thing. Not for somebody that's consuming it later, but at the time, you don't care about that if you're the person that's, like I said, the ticket, that radio station I listen to, they do a camping event once a year where they'll broadcast, into the night.
Yeah.
They stop at 6, 7 or whatever every night and go to other, set up programming. But they do this, they call it the ticket campound. They go, and dude, they broadcast till 3, 4 in the morning.
Damn.
I used to stay up and listen to it because it would be live. You could listen to it on an app, and these are guys you listen to all the time. You feel like, the same thing.
Okay.
You feel like you know them a lot more. They obviously don't know who you are, but you're comfortable with them. And you're sitting up listening to, Gordo and Corby, yuck it up at 2 in the morning. Everybody's on whiskey. And that was amazing, like awesome entertainment times for me as a big fan of that station.
No, that's a good point. That's a good perspective as well. Like just having, it'd be nice to have like balance all out. Like have a lot of podcasts that are releasing on a schedule, but then have like, at least one a month where you're going live and people expect it. And it's going to be, it's
their parks.
Yeah, exactly like that. Exactly like that.
Getting fucking schmammered and just, like you said, you're in the room with your homies. Like, it's just cool.
Well, there's people like, I don't consume Rogan even remotely regularly, but if I was to get a feather at my ass or whatever tomorrow going home. I don't listen to Rogan. The first thing I'm going for is to protect. That's
Right.
what I would be scrolling for to listen to because that's the
Yeah.
I got because I got like my big ones that I always listen to is like Legion of Skanks. There's a few other ones like that I always consistently listen to, but Rogan's the one that I just kind of, if it's a Protect Our Parks, I'm in on it. But past that, it's kind of like whatever. Like today, actually, he's got Bill Murray.
I want to see that. I want to watch.
Started listening to on the way here. I was like, I've always loved Bill Murray.
It's kind of cool seeing more people like Bill Murray and those kind of people start
Woody
to come
Harrelson.
on podcasts. Woody Harrelson. I want to listen to that one too. I listened to the Elon Musk one the other day. It was interesting. So I'm glad they exist. Like you're not going to consume everyone.
Throw it up. Throw that salute up. Come on, do it. One chest pump and then straight out. You can do almost. Gotcha.
His heart goes out to you.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. It's all. I mean, also like once you started that Harley, Saturday's kind of like the freer night, right? Because most people have to go to work on Monday, so Sunday night becomes kind of like don't really want to go too hard on a Sunday night and they have to wake up early on whatever. And so, like, when you end up going to work at Harley up there and your Saturdays are kind of booked out because, those are prime time selling days. And,
Oh, it's the worst. It's being at bike night, 3 beers deep. Oh, you should sell Harleys. Oh. And my main thing was I don't want to give up my Saturdays. That would be the worst part. In addition to everything else I hate about sales and just, that gig.
Yeah.
Giving up just non-negotiable. And, I'm now a little over a year into it. It sucks. Everything that I thought about it would suck. I was, for the most part, right.
Yeah.
Not that there's some days that it doesn't redeem itself or it's worth it. And, everybody's got a gig, whatever. It's not permanent. But, yeah, that's hands down. I'd triple the amount of, I can't say the R word, but I would triple the amount of morons that, man, the bars aren't tall enough on the street light, or how much are this, how much are that. I would increase that tenfold to have my Saturdays off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And be able to kick it with that's the worst part. That's when all my friends get together.
I mean, like having Monday off is dope. I mean,
it's awesome, except you're kind of by yourself. I mean, there's not really, unless somebody has something,
makes Sunday fun days more fun, I guess.
Oh yeah. So Sunday when everybody's
Saturday,
at the end of the day, they gotta walk, thread. That's my Saturday. I can go full fucking idiot on Sunday nights, and I've got, Monday I just kind of recover, but it's, that doesn't jive with everybody. You can't expect people to get on board with that, so that's the worst part of it. But Saturday nights, it's like my Friday night.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, I'm playing with house money. It's once you get out of the shop, but a lot of days or Saturdays go long like today, and you're beat, man. By the time you get out of it, you don't. I used to do the same thing when I worked a corporate job. By the time Friday got there, I didn't go out a lot Friday night. I was kind of, I'm fucking ready to be able to totally relax tonight.
You used to do that shit a lot where we'd be like, hey, where's Jaden at? And he passed out he went home for 5 minutes and sat on the couch and was out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was when you were living in downtown Dallas too. And it's like, we're just down the street. But he's
depending on the time, I was working stupid hours there where I really was like tired all the time. But like nights like last night, I didn't leave the shop till literally 12 o'clock. So I went home. It was 40-ish minute drive home. By the time I got to bed, I didn't sleep good. I got 4 or 5 hours of sleep, which historically it's kind of my average. I can, function on that all day long.
Yeah.
But it was a Friday that felt like a Saturday. So I was so nervous that my body was going to fully relax. I just didn't sleep good because I was worried about oversleeping, thinking, oh, it's Sunday, dude, you're good. And then, the Home Alone moment, or now I'm late for the big day.
Yeah.
So, but it's not always like that. We had an event. We had a bike night Friday night, so it doesn't always hit like that. But yeah, it's the worst part is getting down here to stuff like this and that part.
I mean, like, what's the distance from Sherman where you're at to Dallas is what, like just under 100 miles?
Dallas, Sherman to Dallas, I want to say it's 70.
Yeah.
Right around 70. And
so then you're like 100 miles to here then, because we're almost 30 miles south.
Yeah. And I pretty much stay in McKinney now. So I'm halfway closer, or a chunk closer to here. But it's still you're coming from there. So, but yeah, on the weekends and things like that, I'm now closer to Dallas as far as my starting point. But I now have a commute to work. Where I used to have 1 mile commute, but it's worth it. You know, my situation right now, I'm super happy. But yeah, so I kind of moved a little bit closer to Dallas. I'm no longer living in Sherman. I pretty much live in McKinney.
Yeah.
So I'm getting closer.
It's about where I'm at as far as distance wise from Dallas.
Yeah, because you've always lived out in like for east of Dallas.
Yeah.
But you're technically further now than you were from like bike night.
Yeah, but it's all highway now.
Okay.
So it's like
yeah.
I had a bunch of back road bullshit I had to deal with last time where I was closer, but it sucked. I hated trying to get out. Like it's fucking monotonous. And then now that I'm 10 minutes from work, it's I don't know. I have more time. I have more time throughout the week. Like I've saved like I'm not driving an hour round trip. I'm just fucking.
Have you been to his new place?
But yeah.
No, I haven't. Out there.
Kudos on that. It was cool. I was there pretty quick, right? The weekend y'all moved in or something. But since people setting up and getting your stuff in, the night we went to the Polar Ride, or I guess the day we went to East Texas, stopped in with Dudson and I popped in. They've got it decorated. So kudos to Laura too. I know she won't hear this, but it's badass, dude. Every room is fucking cool. They've got cool shit on the walls. The garage looks sharp. So big kudos. Like, congratulations to the house, but then that next step where it feels like
your house.
Yeah. Now
you actually are like you take time. Like I hung curtains yesterday, dude, and I was like fucking making sure that bitch was level as fuck, and just making sure shit fits and flows right. Like you have a little bit more pride in it. I bought fucking yuccas today, dude. Some yucca plants.
Oh,
the little big old spiky ones that stab you in the shins. I got some of those ready to plant in the front yard because the bushes they gave us are fucking ass. They're terrible bushes.
I like the whole like succulent style.
Like, that's what we're doing. And I don't know. Like going into straight dad mode without having kids is what I'm doing when you got your own house. It's kind of nice. It's weird.
Got a hot rod in the garage. Got a bike.
Yeah,
got the New Balances.
Dude, I had this old poster I pulled out, and it said, basically, it says like why guys keep the beer on the bottom shelf of the fridge, and it's just this girl fucking bent over with her pussy popping out. I'm just like, it's such a like bachelor fucking dude frat guy poster, but I was like, that bitch is going in the garage. Yeah. Like that bitch is front and center right under the fucking thrashing girl's titties. I'm just like, dude, and then Hans is off to the left.
Oh, you got that
picture. I was like, dude, this is like my fucking.
Speaking of the thrashing thing, so you're the second of my. I feel like I got to. If it's even available still, I need to try.
I don't know. Like he sent me that when I built that T-Sport, the purple one. He sent me an exhaust and he sent that in the thing with it. And I think the other side it's blurred out, and this side it's like it shows it.
I think.
But I mean, fuck, dude.
They did it like
a motherfucking reprint.
Yeah. They did it like a free release whenever like you bought something at one point. So I made sure and bought something.
God bless those though, dude. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Another cool thing, y'all's I guess guest bathroom. They got his and her birth month, birth year Playboys on the wall. Which if you're April or May of '84 and you want your birth month, birth year penthouse, I've got both of those. Dudson went with his mom a month or two back, and he came back with some like thrift stop Budweiser signed for me and a bunch of nude magazines. And
nude magazine.
When I told him, I was like, "Oh, '84, that's my birth year." He was like, "Oh, take these." I think y'all both met Ricky. I tried to give Ricky one because one of them is his, but he's in that. He gifted me for my birthday the fucking FXR Bizarre book.
Yeah, that was
because
rad.
he's literally trying to have less possessions.
Yeah.
He's building a van, about to, wants to
Van
live
life
on the
it.
road, like some Ryan Townsend cool shit.
Yeah.
And he's just trying to declutter. I was like, well, if you ever get an FXR, it's yours. Just don't even ask. Tell me you want it back. He's like, man, if I ever get one, just like be willing to give me the info. Like if I have a question, be willing to answer. I was like, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I need an FXR.
Where is mine? It's in here, isn't it? I thought it was. I guess it's I have a bookshelf at the house that I keep a lot of books on and a lot of magazines that I flip through quite regularly. But
yeah, April, May, '84 penthouse.
yeah,
I'm not mailing it. I guess I may mail it, but not doing any money. Find me, get a hold of me, figure it out. It's yours.
when you go to those like vintage stores that sell, just like those repurposed or reseller spots, it's always full of like Playboys, like biker magazines, Playboys. You don't even see that many like hot rod car things. It's usually those two things: Easy Rider, or like In the Wind or some of those motorcycle magazines, Playboy, and occasionally you'll see some Time magazines and things like that. But I've been trying to go back with all the Playboy magazines and get all the chicks from like my childhood that I was like in love with, like the Jenny McCarthy's and Pamela Anderson's, and all those. And I got Pamela has like 7 or 8. It's either 7 or 8 or 13. It's there's a number in my head when I think of it. I just can't remember which one it is. Different cover Playboys, and Carmen Electra has a bunch.
My birth year and month is Cindy Crawford.
Cindy Crawford.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Mine's
Playboy?
82.
Yeah.
I didn't realize she ever did Playboy.
Dude, it's crazy how many chicks did do Playboy.
Dude, Drew Barrymore's got one.
Yeah.
The
Fuck yeah. If you can find a Drew Barrymore, I'll take it.
Terry Polo. Have you ever seen Meet the Fockers, Meet the Pair, whatever? Ben Stiller's wife. Yeah. Blonde, cute, but not not like a heartthrob or anything. I think
she was in Zoolander. She played one of the chicks in Zoolander.
Not his real wife. The lady that played his significant other in Meet the Fockers.
Oh,
not the chick for the Brady
you're
Bunch.
Right,
That's
you're
his real wife. Yeah. I had at one point a Playboy with her. I want to say it was a February too, but like early 2000s or something, where I was like, I guess that's her. I mean, it's just a girl thing.
I don't know if y'all have ever watched it, but it's on like Amazon Prime, and it's like a Playboy. It's about like Hefner starting. It's kind of like it kind of feels documentary-ish, but there is like reenactments of like scenes or stories. It's fucking low-key badass. Like, it's pretty cool. And it's talking about how like they made those magazines back in the day where there was like postcards or something, and they would go buy the postcards and then print them into the magazines. And like within like the first year or two, that magazine just went through the roof. They used to have Playboy clubs all over the country that like you could be a gold member of this club and you'd have a key to the Playboy. It's like Dallas had one in Vegas and New York. It's crazy how big that whole thing got. So when you see like from now, like we kind of grew up with the Playboy Mansion, that kind of stuff. Like, man, Playboy was it was an empire.
It's because it was so suppressed back then, and there wasn't like the access to information.
Dude, they even talk about when Penthouse came out, because when Penthouse came out, you weren't allowed to show any bush, anything like that on Playboy or anything. And the Penthouse, I guess Larry Flint, whatever, is the one that kind of pushed that, and it pushed Playboy had to start doing it as well to keep up with, they were losing sales to Penthouse.
So it was like boobs only at first.
Boobs and butts.
And then all of a sudden, Hustler just started showing, or Penthouse, whatever, stared showing.
Right down the fucking
hair, pink.
Right down the fucking barrel, dude. You can look down that motherfucker.
Intestines, if you looked hard enough. I guess Playboy just had to.
Dude, I feel like I see more on Instagram, like the little pass by reels now than I have ever seen in any like Playboy. It's like mainly because it's women breastfeeding and stuff like that.
Oh.
But, but like I'm talking like straight up just like hoes being hoes on the Instagram reels. And if you stop long enough to like, if you don't have to click on the picture, if you stop just like, you're scrolling through like motorcycle, like, oh, what's this? And then you just look at it for 3 seconds, it's in your fucking algorithm.
Yeah. You're
and
infected.
I'll be goddamn if I don't scroll through each little row of fucking little like teaser reels.
The breastfeeding thing, it's funny you brought that up because I hadn't seen one in a minute. But yeah, I think I even sent it to you and Jones. I was like, are you guys getting this like a lot? Because I am, and they almost don't look real. Like it's all, this is not a real mom. This is just some model.
No, it's a fake baby. Most of them are fake babies. It's just a reason to show their tits.
Yeah, it's a loophole.
And then you get the Nat Geo ones. You're like, that's real.
It's Trump and his taxes. These breastfeeding chicks on Instagram.
There's no taxes on tips, so
I saw one today of Bobby Lee's face AI imaged on a midget girl like bouncing her ass out by a pool and had Bobby Lee's face on. And I was like, I'm confusing the fuck out of my dick right now because I start from the bottom up, and then you see the top, you're like, oh no, but the rest you're just like, I don't know what's happening here. The ass is great.
Did y'all see that AI thing? It was Shark Tank, but they had David Spade and Chris Farley come out. The Tommy Boy,
I think
breaks
so.
pitch.
I didn't watch the whole thing, but I think I know what you're talking about.
You can tell it's AI, but dude, it's getting better. Like that's not the funniest thing I've.
Callahan,
even the
brake pads.
50th funniest thing I've seen all week, but just somebody pointed out to me, and it if that's where we're going, mixing up this scene from movie 20 years ago into a show now, and we're gonna have fun. There's gonna be some funny stuff, but it's the more we're fucked. We're fucked, dude.
Maybe I don't know, like a hypothetical or just like a hear me out on this kind of situation, but because social media is a catch-all be-all of all kinds of content and media, sometimes it's like would it make sense to have like channels? Like, you know what? I want to be on this channel where I'm getting fed like the kind of content that I want, which is going to be motorcycle, whatever, because the algorithms seem to, you know, if there is no chicks in there, like you're not getting fed that, then you don't, you know, I'd rather be in this place. Or if I want to fuck with, you know, if I want to be into like travel videos, or I want to just watch funny memes, not to like muddy up your shit. So it's always whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Because it's alarming almost at how much they can dial it in, you know, where you can set your algorithm where that's what you're, I mean, the other night I had to pull myself away. I was at home, you know, around the girls, and I'm just kind of doom scrolling, and something pissed me off, and I was like, what am I doing? Why am I even looking at this right now? Much less like giving into it. But it's the same, you know, sometimes it's my algorithm's on fire, and it is those kind of jokes I'm looking for or whatever.
Memes are good.
But it stays that way a lot. And there's, like you said, that if I could switch it over for some time, like, hey, dude, less racial and, you know, the scourge of society content. Yeah. And more motorcycle stuff. I mean, TBJ is one of those guys I miss his shit all the time. I follow him. Yeah. But his post ever make it my thing. But yet, I have black chicks still, you know, out of TJ Maxx in California. You know, I'm steady with that. The stuff that I guess I get mad at. I don't comment on anything, but that's
the stuff you just stop and look at for a little bit.
They know. They fucking know somehow.
If I was just stuck to
white male, Texas, 40 years old,
dude.
I don't do many. I mean, I probably make it easy for him. Certain videos I want to send to 19 different people. But yes, to your original. And I got somebody told me that the other day. Like, I know when Jaden sends me something, it's probably gonna be one of the darker things I look at all day. And I like when I'm scrolling and I see something bad, and I'm like, man, I can't send that to anybody. But I look down and it shows that Call Me Dragons already liked it. That used to be Dark Horse 40 for me. That was like darkest.
Exactly.
But to your original point, yes, I would. You know, almost like switching your profile between the T-bar account.
When you watch TV, right? You can choose to watch music television, right? Like MTV, or you know, you watch Lifetime, or you watch this. Like there's a channel you go to watch, and you're getting that type of shit, right? And it's like what I've done on like my my photography page. I usually stay logged in on that one because all I follow is photographers. So I'm seeing photography on the shit all day long. On my personal page, you know, like that's the one I've had forever. So that's like family, it's homies, whatever. But I mean, I don't know. It's like I try to just like I want to go on social media and still feel motivated, inspired like I used to back in the day, you know. And to me, it's like I'm not saying that reels and all this shit isn't good. It hasn't been funny as hell. I haven't laughed my ass off for hours. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying like it can't be all of that because it used to be all this other shit that brought me more joy in life. This brings me joy in the now. You know, meeting people and connecting and doing all the shit we did through social media years ago is what I love about social media. I need that to still exist to some degree. And then, yeah, it's dope that like when I go sit on the shitter, I can just laugh at some funny shit on the internet for me.
Amazon woman with hairy armpits.
Exactly.
Sometimes you get distracted.
I end up like getting a lot of those like married couples that do those skits together. Shit. I don't know if y'all have ever seen those kind of like deals.
Yeah, some of them are good. Some of them, you know, are more cringy than others. But some of them, I mean, you're in a relationship. Some of them hit, and it's you watch it and it's truly funny. You want to send it to your partner and whatever the fuck. But same thing. You got to be careful because you know a little too much of anything and your algorithm gets.
Well, I've seen also like people are doing this shit now where they put something, a meme or a post out, and it's clearly it's not right. It's like 2 + 2 = 12. And it's like, well, everybody, dumb society, it's actually 4, you know, in the comments. And then all those comments go to the top and then it makes the post and it's actually stupid. There's nothing of value.
Right.
But it's playing that game where some people can't. People
People
They
have
can't
no
not
self-awareness.
post.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I saw something that was a tactic by some people to grow their stuff. If there's a post, jump. It's almost like some Jones shit trolling. Like
Oh yeah.
most of you are going this way. Do that fucking out of left field comment going completely the other way, because if nothing else, you're gonna get bombarded with stuff. But it's traction. It's who the fuck is this idiot saying? What is this? What can I make fun of this guy for? You look at his profile for a minute, maybe you look at his story, but I see people that do that. And I'm like, they're just getting you to look at their page.
Yeah.
But sometimes the comments are fucking what makes the post, dude. Because people have some witty ass, funny ass comments that makes that. It's fucking great. It happens more so in TikTok as a guy who fucking binges TikTok shit, dude. My algorithm is fucked on TikTok.
Yeah.
But I love it because I'll send, my friends that have like little cutesy TikTok reels, I'll send them like the dredges of society that were like, it's all straight just fucking retarded people on there.
Yeah,
So it's so fucking funny though, because it's like, because it's such a genuine video of like the person making the video is like, it's the most cringy shit in the world, or it's like just some white trash motherfucker out in West Virginia, and it's just like a close up of their room, and there's like fucking roaches and shit in the corner, and they're just like fucking blubbering on there about something. And I'm just like, dude, this rules. Like, just to like have a view in that fucking it's straight gummo shit, dude. And I'm just like, I don't know, that shit makes me laugh.
It does.
I laugh, or just like makes you just fucking. Man,
he'll send me stuff like that, and I'm waiting for the punchline or whatever.
No, there's no punchline.
I don't get it, and then I'm like, "There's nothing to get." Kyle just like seeing weird fucking people be weird, because some people can handle it.
Makes people mad sometimes. Just like, why are you showing me this, dude? Lauren hates it when I send her stuff like that because she's like, "Why did you send me that?"
I don't really respond. I mean, it's not that I don't. I appreciate people thinking of me when they see something funny, but I just can't.
Well, I know
my wife sends me shit. That's about as much as I can deal with, and half the time I just like it.
That's it.
I don't even watch it.
It's mostly like, you gotta send it to the right people. It's like obviously us sending stuff to each other is easy. That's like, okay, fuck yeah, I can back and forth it and you can watch it in my free time. And then sometimes you'll be the guy like. Whatever gets funny about you. I don't know how many fucking penis shit I've gotten sent, or fucking nunchuck stuff I've seen just from making a single joke, and you're just like, fucking, hey, check this out. I'm like, dude, I know. I'm sorry. But, you bring it to yourself. I like it. It's still funny. Like, I appreciate it.
You're like the king of like live, doing shit in the moment. Like, What was the first time you came out somewhere and literally had nunchucks in the back of your pants?
That was at Born Free. They were selling them. They were selling them at Born Free.
$20.
$20 over at the.
It was Ninja Stars, and
it was just
and
all
were,
the
going back and
that
forth,
bullshit
and
like shit you get at the bazaar. And stuff. I was like,
yeah.
and it's all right here.
For $20.
I don't have to go anywhere, and I'm fucking hammered. I'm buying nunchucks. I'm buying Ninja Stars. I kept those motherfuckers on me too.
It's fiscally
And then-
irresponsible not to buy them at that.
Dude, exactly. If the tasers weren't that much more expensive, I was gonna fuck around those tasers too.
A whole bunch of people just getting tased all night.
Dude, and then the security guard's like, you can't carry those legally in Texas. I'm like, I bought them over there, you fucking retard.
It's like at night at Born Free, Texas. There's like lightning bugs going off.
Yeah, dude. Getting stabbed in the ass with a fucking taser, dude. That's so, dude. That shit makes me giggle, dude. Just.
They brought one when I worked at that other paint shop for a long time. Like they had brought one to work one day, and they were all trying to tase everybody, and I was fucking jinking and juking on it real good. And they got me when they said, hey, one of the dudes said, hey, man, come help me out in this other room. And they sent another room, and they were holding the door handle with the taser.
Yes,
so when I grabbed the door handle, I fucking zapped the shit out of me. And I was like, fuck that. I don't know. It's like it doesn't hurt really, but it's like the anticipation.
That's shocking.
Electricity sucks, dude.
Well, it's not like
it's a weird hurt, but it hurts.
Yeah, it's not like they're not like sitting there just fucking holding it on you.
Yeah.
Something like a little zap or whatever. It's like
that initial pop gets you every time.
Man, there's something about electricity that stays with you. Like I said, it's not the worst pain ever. Not go cry in the corner. But if you've ever been really shocked, it's 50. It almost like it's get cold or something. It's a weird sensation, and for me, it's always stuck with me. Like I feel it 15 minutes later. I'm like, don't feel normal or something. I don't know. I fucking hate getting shocked.
Yeah.
Even static electricity, walking around carpet and socks or something. Then you pisses me off.
Getting mad at Mother Nature over here. Fucking all beat your ass.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, this is another thing. This fucking my mustache grows like twice as fast as any other hair on my body. But just drinking a beer can, and one of these.
Oh, yeah, I
mushy
guess-
gets-
You
you
should like punch yourself in the face because you're mad at it. You don't know what to be mad at.
It hurts, dude. I mean, I keep mine pretty short just so that I don't have to deal with that. But
You ever got your whole ass beard caught in a fucking high speed?
a what?
Fucking, well, I call it a high speed, but you're like your angle grinder or whatever. Those pneumatic ones.
I'm tucked in.
Boy, I fucking was at work one day and just wasn't looking. I had that bitch going to a stand and some shit, and that bitch said yeet and fucking ripped the entire like center portion of my beard out. I was just like, oh, like, I thought I had to shave that motherfucker, dude. I had that fucking like little twin fucking beard going on. I had to shave it down, but man, I was like, shit, you don't think about, you know, like that, but.
Caught you on fire yet?
No, close. I've definitely felt like smelled hairs burning on sometimes, but I don't mess around with a whole lot of like.
Last year, I fucking had to shorten my shit up a little bit too.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's.
Fuck,
I don't know. And it goes quick too.
I had a grill incident. I don't know, a year or so ago where I had like a fireball to my aunt and uncle's. They have like an outdoor kitchen, and I didn't realize their grill they're known for like the propane tank being almost empty. And I didn't realize they had a gas line like hooked up to the outdoor grill.
Yeah.
I turn it on, let it heat up for a few minutes, and go to start it. Open it up. Maybe the the button wasn't working, and it changed my mood. I went from like happy hanging out to, smelling your own burnt hair. You look in the mirror, eyebrows are singed like a mother. Everything on my hands is like, balled up.
Curly ass hair.
Looks like Velcro.
Everything up here is like, it looks stupid. It looked funny. I was like, fuck, it got me good. But it pissed me off. I was kind of in a bad mood the rest of the night.
Go punch walls and shit.
Hell yeah.
Man, it's got 3 dogs. I just kicked one of the ones that
Yeah, there you
nobody's
go.
looking at the moment.
I remember that one time you shaved, dude. Fuck. I don't think I belly laughed that hard in a long time. Dude. You and Jones. Jones was the
I
other
remember
one.
when
That
Jones did it,
motherfucker
yeah.
had no neck at that time, dude.
And yeah,
God damn, that was so funny.
I remember what you're talking about. I don't remember like
That's why I haven't shaved
being
yet.
in
'cause
the
it'd be
in the
bad.
mirror, the motivation, but I'm almost positive it was. Oh fuck! Got a little too, and then you start trying to fix it. Next thing you know, you're like, "Well, fuck it, man. I haven't done it in a while. Let me
Yeah.
just take it down to like a 1 or something. It won't be that bad." Then you get the fucking big fat double chin. You get to it's because I'd seen people working. Hey, like people try to be nice. And then I got to bike night, and Kyle was just like, literally, the first thing he saw me was just like, I just lost it, like like I had a fucking dick growing off my cheek or something. It was like,
As well as
you
do that.
fat fuck, and whatever.
Oh my god! Because I know I get it. I'd expect the same in return if I ever shave my shit. 'Cause I'm sure, dude. I
Didn't show up thinking I was gonna Irish goodbye tonight, guys. But
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah, I'm
they
scared.
put this one on
fucking
Kyle's, and I
funny,
fucking
dude.
slip out the back.
Yeah.
Dude, my best friend, Rob, growing up in high school, we were down in New Orleans cleaning up after Katrina.
Yeah.
With, like, the church I was with at the time was, like, just cutting limbs and shit. Dude, he got fucked up on some poison ivy down there one day, and the next morning woke up, and his face was fucking fat, dude, he looked like Steven Seagal because his eyes were, like, slanted back because it was so squished up. And when he would, like, move his face, his whole face would jiggle in one
like
movement. And, dude, I swear, the entire next day, he'd be trying to be serious or say something to me. I'd look over and I'd just be like, I laugh. He's like, dude, shut up. I'm like, I'm just trying to like ask you a question. I couldn't, dude. I fucking cry laughed every time I saw him for like the rest of that week, dude. It was so funny.
Wow.
So when I saw your shaved face, that's just, dude, that shit makes me giggle.
I've gone pretty low, but in the 7 years that we've all hung out and known each other, I honestly, I've gone to where I keep it longer, but I like to keep it short. I don't know. It just feels better. But man, every once in a while, I'm like, man, I wouldn't mind just shaving it off and see how I look. And it's like, I still have a chin, but it's just like, it's just a little bit,
Oh, dude, I'm sure I got a fucking gullet on me. Plus,
Yeah,
I have a John
yeah.
Travolta like butt chin too.
I got a butt chin too.
Dude.
I think it's not Propecia.
Finasteride.
Whatever the fuck it is, like my cheeks, I think are redder than the rest of my face. So when I shave, it looks like
hair growth stuff.
you all know somebody like that had that, like the kid whose cheeks are red. I think I've got a little bit of that. So when I shave, it's
alopecia is when you're like you don't grow hair at all.
That's the Jada Pinkett thing.
I think so.
Yeah, I don't have that. Keep my name. Fuck that bitch.
Yeah, I thought you meant like the hair growth stuff, the finasteride.
No, just my skin's like.
I started taking that just to see if it'll. I started to see it going a little bit. Fucking seeing those fucking tracks.
You still got a fucking thick ass full head hair,
dude. And I was told if you want to use that stuff, do it before you lose your shit. So I was like, fuck, I'll just give it a shot. If it starts to go, fucking,
I thought I would be
a razor from the fucking neck to the back of my head, dude.
Yeah, I thought I would be I'd have a lot more. I'd be more bald than I am.
Yeah.
By this age, by 42 going on 43, I literally thought I'd have a bald spot, and it'd be starting to creep to the front, and the front's creeping to the back. They're gonna meet in the middle somewhere, But I've also been shaving my head since I was in high school.
Yeah.
So I've never really had like a haircut. There's like a couple pictures of me when I met Britta, and she's like, "You should grow your hair out, and I could cut it." And I'm like, I got like 2 months into it. I was like, "Fuck this, dude." I just. But I've also been like, I mean, we I don't know if we did it on that trip, but when we did our month-long trip,
Yeah, you went and got a haircut one day.
well, I ended up ordering a set of clippers. You got a haircut, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, I ordered a set of clippers, like some cordless ones, just because I needed to buzz it all off. But I usually would take like one of those little skull shavers and just go completely bald. You know what I'm saying? It's just easier. And I'm just, I knew that I was going to be balding when I got older. So I'd like shave my head with a razor like when I was 22 just to be like, all right, I can fuck with this.
Just see what it would look like.
Yeah,
like,
so I wouldn't be like so worried about losing my hair or whatever the case may be growing up. Because Britta, tells me like clients that she has, they're like, there's nothing left. And they're up there like, just, trying to fucking flick it over and like, camouflage the baldness and stuff. And it's like, dude, just let it go. You know what I mean?
There was a dude on Kill Tony a few weeks ago that went up there and told the joke. And he, as soon as he came out, everyone started laughing. Because this dude had like the worst fucking cul-de-sac. And he tried to make a hairline across the front. So he took the little wisps of his hair and just like gelled them flat across the roof, like the roof of his head.
Makes it like a unibrow.
It was like, it looked like a Sharpie was drawn on his head. And dude, he got done with his terrible fucking joke. It was so bad. And then Tony was just like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
Like, do you realize? And they made him, they got him to shave his head on stage right then and there. Like, they promised him the spot the next week. Like, shave your fucking head, dude.
So that
and he came back out at the end of the show, shaved head. Dude, looked great. Like, the dude looked fucking good. Like, he was a little bit younger and, like, everything. Like, they made him shave his little shit fucking soul patch, where the fuck he had going on. Like he just wasn't growing hair. Like, it's one thing if you can grow some hair thicker in areas, but dude, fucking let her eat, dude. Like, just get rid of it.
And that wasn't
dude, he looked like, damn, he's like a handsome dude after that. Like,
but he wasn't doing a bit with the hair.
No.
He
He was definitely
like,
holding on to it. You could tell, like, even going to his Instagram story, like his page, you could tell he was kind of like, because it was too, like, it's one thing, like, okay, you got like a Stavi, right? Who's like, he owns it. He owns it, dude. He's like straight up like, I just want to be Tony Soprano. Fuck it. Like, we're doing this like fucking old Greek fat guy shit. Like, but he's also makes up for it with personality and all that stuff. But like,
dude, him on tires was fucking funny, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Is there a new season of that out?
They just wrapped it like a couple months ago or a month ago or something like that. Yeah.
Want to see me do a burnout?
Yeah.
Stavi's the one that was talking about. He showed him his car. He's like, I fingered so many chicks in that.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah. He goes, no, you didn't.
That was. I think I told you. It was funny, but I felt like it was like if we all made a show, we all ran a tire shop, and we just did it on like the first take. Like, I could tell they were having fun, but some of them, but they're like Shane, especially he's just smiling in every line. It's not like an Office where they're saying it where they're serious. He's kind of saying it like, I don't know. I liked it. It was funny, but I didn't love it as much. I think a lot of other people did.
Yeah. I mean, it was fun to watch.
I liked it a lot. But I also know like half the people that are in there, like,
yeah, it's all from the whole Gillian Keys stuff, like all the different actors. Matt and Shane's podcast is their biggest one, and Matt McCusker was
in tires as like the smallest role ever. He was like little bike cop that showed up, like just smacking on some gum and like doing a little skid and shit. Dude, he's so fucking funny. And for him to just throw him in like the smallest part ever for that show is fucking, it makes it even that much funnier. Like just knowing his personality.
Was there? Have they shown anything of the new season? You know, they got Cam with the Rock.
Yes.
Like, is there another shot where it's Cam and it was like one real famous person, then 2 or 3 like
the JJ Watts. JJ Watt was in it. JJ Watt, right?
Yeah.
Football player.
The football
I just
player.
thought I feel like
That made that clip. They posted the teaser for that one for the new season.
but whatever shop it would have been like 3 or 4 people. One was Cam, one was that goofy white guy. Cam, I like rocks. I carry rocks.
Oh, Patterson?
Yeah. It was him, the guy that's on their show, that the white kid with the curly hair that's funny.
You're talking about
I
the
swear it was a
regulars?
promo for tires.
No, it was for that David Spade and Theo Von movie coming out.
Okay.
Yeah, because they're dressed as like shop. They look like the shop
It
is
was like-
William Montgomery,
Yeah.
Cam Patterson, and Casey Rocket. They're all
And
in
then somebody else that was like huge level, I felt like. I felt like it was like a Tom Segura hanging out with 3 guys that were like happy to be at the.
Well, I know Theo Von and David Spade are doing that movie, and then they're in it.
Yeah.
So there may have been some other ones too. But I don't
It's that shit still inspires me. I haven't been paying as much attention to the comedy stuff, but seeing those guys do
Yeah.
more and bring more friends, it's. I think I messaged you something about that. The Andrew Schultz thing. It's
Yeah, I mean that's
you hit different levels, where all of a sudden shit starts making sense. And
Well, it's
kudos
like
to-
when
for
you're
them.
I guess what inspired me about like how when I first started watching Andrew Schultz podcast was like, you know, there's a part of me that looks at a podcast as in like, is that something that I can adopt, you know, a style or a thing, and having, you know, all those guys that can riff together was like, okay, I need to figure out how to pull that off because that just makes it fun. I mean, it takes a little bit of pressure off your shoulders to be like the, you know, carry the, you know, the tone or the energy throughout every podcast. But the other thing is like, man, like what was cool. So when Andrew Schultz podcast first came out, but during COVID, they made that thing that came onto Netflix where it was kind of like that quick hit fucking, you know, Schultz, how he does a lot of his intros. It'll be like that monologue, but it's just like the clips are coming in, the jokes are in there. They did that whole thing on Netflix, and like the dude Dove that produces like learned how to edit videos like a year before. Like he just bought a computer and figured it out, and then edits a fucking video for Netflix, right? So it's like he's surrounded by these dudes that are hungry that want to build something. So it's like, you know, it's like when you have people like that surrounding you, like it's gonna happen. There's too many. It's not, the odds aren't 1 to 1,000. Now it's like 10 to 1,000. You know what I'm saying? So there's just more happening. And when someone gets success over here and they're taking their boys and this happens, everybody's growing together. I mean, that's literally what our whole thing was. It still is, but it was for sure bigger when we were all more centrally located at Dallas. The podcast was going, you know, we were doing all this stuff and everything was kind of more tight knit. We were all, you know, buying a house, you know, making some life choices that are getting you in a better spot. James bought a house. You know, the oil field guys have had to go back to the oil field instead of working in the offices like they were. So it's like a lot of things have changed, and it's nothing wrong with that. But, you know, like finding a way to get everybody together and start pushing each other for things motorcycle related, not just personal stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that's what, you know, I mean, I'm always trying to find people that are motivated, that want to be around, and not just to help with the podcast or what I do, but man, when I'm around someone that's motivated, I get motivated. You know, I get jazzed up about wanting to do shit or travel or build something or learn something, you know? So, you know, that's one thing I loved about the Andrew Schultz podcast. It's just everybody bringing each other up, and everybody's got, you know, they're all, you know, even the ones that weren't really into comedy kind of started getting into comedy. And, you know, I forget what his name, the black dude on there. Fuck. He does like the Charlemagne podcast too. He's like does the video editing and
Tyrone?
no, not Charlemagne's.
Marquise?
Fuck.
Jamal.
I don't know. Just
We can keep doing this. No, I told
I know you're talking about too. I can't remember his name.
told you what you're saying. Well, man, I do feel like even if some of the, you know, the regulars or whatever, if things happen, kudos to you, Devin, Connor, everybody that's been working on it. I feel like like when I watch it, I'm like, ooh, it's gone to the next level. You know?
Yeah.
some of the production, the cutaways, and what he's doing after the fact on some of the clips. I know that's always been kudos, because it's we may not have as many idiot regrettable shouldn't have said that nights, but he's running a fucking top shelf program, and it's getting better as far as consuming it. Somebody that watches it an hour away now, and I have it on at the shop all the time. I got the service guy, I walked by and saw it the other day, and I didn't say anything. And I came back by a little while later. He's like, "Hey, dude, do you see I got your boys' podcast on?" I was like, "Yeah, I saw it, man. Cool, thank you." Like, put closed captions on since you don't have sound on, so people can actually read. But, yeah. Keep it on, and it just seems like it's still.
Yeah, Connor and I were kind of talking about it last night. It's just that, like, when the podcast started, we were very niched into performance motorcycles, and we kind of grew alongside with performance baggers as that kind of scene or genre of motorcycles was becoming more popular and widespread. We've always had a hand in the FXRs, the Dyna culture, and then the Softails came out while we were doing podcasts. You know what I'm saying? But now it's like getting into the chopper world and getting some of those stories on here, and it's like it's not really a performance. It's like we're not a small niche podcast anymore. But when it was a niche, when it was just like this was the voice of the performance motorcycle community, like. We were all in a big echo chamber. So it's like everybody's reposting, everybody's sharing, everybody's making stories. The dudes in the group chats on the lives, because it was a small community, and the podcast made it possible for everybody that's into this across the country to come together. Then you add the campout, and that does the same thing and brings people together. And then, now it's like we talk about it all the time. It's like we'll be Devin or myself or, Connor will be over here, and there's fucking two, performance club style out bikes that just pass us down the street over here. And we're like, there was a point in time where I knew everybody that had a set of T-bars on their bike in Dallas-Fort Worth. And now it's like, this dude's logoed out, thrashing, all these other things. And it's like, it's grown so big, and it's awesome.
Yeah. But
it's like, it's not like, it's not a little thing anymore. Like everything, the motor company is involved in performance motorcycles now. So it's not like that band that you found or that comedian you found, opening up for somebody or, through a loophole on fucking Spotify or some shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's no way to quantify this, and I'm not trying to, strap on knee pads or anything. But fuck, I think you'd be remiss to say the podcast hasn't, at least probably helped some of that. I mean, we've talked about it before. Harley's obviously listening. You've heard it. Like, you've got fans at Harley. You said they can't welcome you in with open arms, but you got people listening. And, the new lowrider ST, they're hearing us. Fuck, they've been hearing us. So, like I said, there's no way to put it on, but go from knowing everybody with a set of T-bars, all of a sudden they're popping up more. You don't know that dude isn't listening to the podcast. And maybe he's just not coming up to bike night. He's got his own set of circumstances, but you don't know that this wasn't his entryway into that. And then to take it to another level, as far as growing the podcast, it has to grow as far as not being an echo chamber and now bringing in to pull in other people. Yeah. That takes it to a whole nother level. And sometimes you got to grow up Peter Pan, and it can't be just, Wayne's World getting drunk in the basement kind of thing. And I mean, you're fucking real deal. You look at the guest, it blows my mind sometimes who comes through here. Yeah. And to open that up to any, if you're some fucking Triumph guy, you had somebody on here, that connected with him, all of a sudden he's listening to this. And fuck, maybe he goes to it's just, I feel like it's the same thing. We may not see the immediate returns and the right in our face, but I think that's it. You had all that, and I think you're in a point where it's obviously still growing. But you're not just seeing the echo chamber of fuck yeah. But you are appealing and getting on the radar.
Yeah, we're still people, like number wise, like it still continues to have like this upward tick of like viewership, and I mean, YouTube's a weird one, right? Because the algorithm YouTube is like a wave, man. Right now I'm kind of dipping. Like right now, the last couple of podcasts, they haven't hit a lot of good traction, but then something will happen, and then it'll pick back up, and like everything I do will be like insane, right? But it's still, until I started focusing on YouTube content for the podcast, like we would have an audio versions of the podcast. We, remember back in the day, it was like the Joe Kidd podcast everybody had to listen to it. It was the highest ranked. And then it was Then it became the Cruisy podcast. And then, you know, the YouTube stuff, it's like how all of a sudden now I have a handful of podcasts, like 30 or 40 episodes that are thousands and thousands of you know, listens or whatever the fuck you want to call it, or downloads or fucking watches, or I don't even know how they say it. Views. There we go. So it's like and then podcasting is changing a lot now. It's like before when we first started doing YouTube video stuff, like the video podcast, it was like more people still consume podcasts through their you know, headphones. Like they weren't watching it, right? And so the lives made sense because that was a time that people could watch something, you know, and be a part of it. But then everybody's busy and all this stuff starts to change. Now you can put the videos on Spotify and you could choose to watch the video or the audio version, which I still need to do that for mine. There's just a lot of things that have changed in the podcast world that, you know, on top of everything else that I got going on, I need to sit down and figure out, okay, I need to start doing this back end shit again and get it all back to where it's current. And, you know, because when Rogan went over to Spotify, that's when they started working on their video aspect of the platform. Mm-hmm. But these like Apple Podcasts, all this shit, it's not like you can just sign in on the back door of it and upload it to it. Like it's so complicated, you know?
I have no idea on that part of it, and I'm sure it is.
Yeah, so basically what it is like you have a host thing, right? So I use a company called Lexin. I pay $100-something a month, and it gives me a amount of like space to upload my podcast to their server. And then what that does in that server is it raises like a flag up, and it's sitting out a signal, and basically all the podcast apps, so there's hundreds of them, right? But Apple and iHeartRadio and, you know, Spotify, when those RSS feed signals goes up, they just pick those up. And then, so when you stream or download a podcast, you're not downloading it from Spotify. It's streaming from that site that I host it from. So Spotify doesn't house all this stuff, right? YouTube, you have to actually upload to YouTube servers. So it's a little bit different on YouTube. You know what I mean? So
I got to get a beer.
That's fine.
Keep talking.
But yeah, go ahead. It's just kind of you're always trying to see, okay, well, things are working good right now, or it's a well machine. So what's next? Like I need to know what the next curve or the next because you don't want to be in the middle of a change or when things start to go a different direction and you're not prepared for like whatever's coming.
Or you're barely catching up on the last thing that happened.
Yeah. I mean, if I wouldn't have started doing video podcasts when I started,
right,
and I was trying to do it now, I'd be so fucking behind the curve, you know?
It's tough, yeah. I still don't listen to, I still don't really watch podcasts just because at work I can't. Like, not technically supposed to have your phone out. It's one of those kind of things. So, like, I just fucking listen to all mine. I still use Apple Podcasts for all mine.
Yeah, for real.
I use Spotify when I was listening to some Rogans. Honestly, sometimes when I could watch it, I would. I'd leave it up in my toolbox or whatever and just kind of watch it every now and then. Like if they reference something or they do something, I kind of walk over and check it out, and then I go back to doing what I do. But it's just I can multitask if I was listening to it, you know?
Well, I've always wanted to have the ability to, it's a time thing more than anything. Or if I found someone that was willing to put in the effort to go say this podcast. You remember that podcast I did when we did our Midwest trip, right? Mm-hmm. So we were doing the recap podcast for our Midwest trip, like a Fast Life Crew one, right? Mm-hmm. And I remember that's the trip I lost my GoPro in fucking Duluth or whatever. Yeah. But I had to, mainly because I had to cut a lot of shit out of that podcast because we went a little too hard. But I went back through that whole podcast and I added those video clips on to the actual podcast. So when you watch that podcast, there is the context of the stories in video.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it was, I want to do that for all of them. But, like I said, it would.
On specific stuff like that.
Well, I mean, just in general, it adds more flavor to the viewer. Right. Now, when Jaden was running the cameras, like he would be sitting there, you know how he would do it. We'd be talking about something and he's switching the cameras, but he's also looking up the shit.
Yeah.
And then
up a clip or
and then putting it on the computer or putting it on the thing. And then like we would also see the shit up on the screen. Remember that?
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I haven't been able to get this TV to connect to my computer anymore. So
really? It's just a TV thing, you think?
Yeah. Well, when I moved the room around, the TV, the HDMI cable comes out right here, and that plug that's right under your foot was there because that's where the table used to be
Yeah.
for like where we used to do the podcasting, the command center, if you will.
Right.
So yeah, everything's a little bit backwards, and it's crazy how much more room there
I
is
was
in here.
literally just about to say that because it felt so tight earlier whenever it was over here that we were doing this stuff, and then over there was where we were sitting. There was just something about having this. I think it's honestly about having this table going this way too. But you had
I cut about 10 inches off each side of this table.
Okay. I remember you were wanting to do. Okay, yeah.
I want to build a table. Like I want to do a custom table in here, but
Dude, we can hand carve a SOA table for us.
hell yeah.
Come on, that'd be
But
easy. No
the,
problem.
The original idea of moving it this way was like, and then I had the chairs in here.
Yeah.
One of the chairs is just in the back of the van, so if we have a third passenger, there's a chair in there. So it's like just a house chair in the back of the van.
Hell yeah.
And then the other one's in Britta's her little closet room at the house.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to have another like podcast like thing, like where we could sit over there and kind of do the Andrew Schultz thing. But I don't like being in a chair all belly up in the air and shit. Like that's uncomfortable for me. I like having a table.
Speak for yourself, dude. Give me a couch to lay on. I'll fucking lay with my feet
asleep.
up. Hell yeah, dude.
But no,
I think honestly, even doing them like on a Saturday like that, I have way more energy than I used to.
Yeah,
because it would be like a Sunday night or something like that. I'd be like, man, I really want to go do this podcast, and I'll rally, but knowing you had to go for work the next morning and have like, oh fuck, dude.
Yeah,
it dwells on you. But,
yeah, I mean, the other thing is like I said, there's a lot of things I want to do, and that as like Connor helps out a lot. Devin helps out a tremendous amount. I mean, Devin's in here. There's times we're doing 3 podcasts a week, and then he's always down to do the garage talks where we do those, like we try to put out 2 episodes a month that are just there. And we just did one last week that, in my opinion, that one was fucking fire. It wasn't that it was fire, like all this amazing, it was just a good like thing. I talked about the Indians. I kind of leaked another Harley that's about to drop this Monday when you're
Double R.
Yeah. So there's
CBR double R.
Are we?
Well,
I know we've been sending out emails and stuff about it.
Yeah,
I
so-
assume you can
already
talk
put
about
on.
it.
well, yeah. I mean,
Instagram
like
has something
when this
coming
thing
out.
airs, it'll already be going.
They already
but-
had the fucking what is it? The fucking Pulp Fiction
Yeah, I thought
crate
that was-
open
Yeah.
thing where the gold shines in your face.
I didn't know if that was an actual like nod to Pulp Fiction. I figured it actually wasn't.
I think it's
Harley,
most
but
of their-
I liked it.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, like Pulp Fiction.
What's it's basically,
Inside there's a gimp.
I think it's like
Fucking up
Not even a Harley in there. It's just a fucking dude tied up.
fucking a bound Ving Rames.
Yeah.
well, yeah. So that obviously that bike that's coming out, it's like a race trim street legal
Right.
bike. I think I originally heard 130 grand, but I think that the reports are coming. It's like 110,000
Dollars.
Yeah, 110,000.
So have you heard about like it's not just a bike. It's an experience.
It is. I didn't hear. So I heard. So let me tell you what I heard. Then you tell me
Remember
what
we made
the
a
deal is.
panda.
So it's like I heard that basically, they're only making it's a very very small amount of them, right?
I think 131.
Yeah. So it's a
bad.
small amount of bikes, and then dealerships got like the ability to like. It'd be different if it was like in person.
Yeah.
But then it'd be hard to keep the leaks from coming out. But they're doing a virtual unveiling. And so 10 people per dealership that's getting a bike could invite their 10 potential customers. And they're trying, if they sell each one of them, I mean, fuck. You sell 131 bikes for $100,000. I mean, that's a nice little chunk of change to come into the thing. It didn't cost them that to build the fucking thing. So it's like, it's dope. And it's, I never got any pictures of it, so I don't know what it looks like. I don't know.
That's
any of
cool
that
though.
shit.
I mean, making it super limited like that.
Yeah.
It'd be one thing if it was like 50,000 units and it's like $100,000 each. You're like,
Yeah.
come on now.
Yeah.
Like,
So what's the 411?
I don't have any. I haven't seen it or anything like that. I've heard whispers allegedly that they were looking around that 131 price mark because of the 131, and they're making 131 of them. I don't know if that's the price point or not, but yeah, same thing. I think each shop. I think there's a certain number of shops that got one, and then everything else went into a lottery. So definitely not every dealership's getting one, not even close.
Yeah.
If Texoma gets one, it's getting a dick drawn on it somewhere, and they don't know about it.
We're getting one. We ended up at number 10 in the country.
No
for the
shit.
like bar and shield ranking. So
Tell me where
we've
to
got
put
one.
it, dude. I'll put it right on the bottom of that motherfucking bag, dude.
From what I understand, fuck man, I hope I'm not getting fired doing this. But
Well, like I said,
it's
when
gonna
we
be like an
release it,
experience.
it'll be out.
All right.
Yeah.
It's going to be like an experience. We've got one. You guys have both met Ricky. Ricky's our concierge for the thing. Doesn't mean he's the only one can sell it. He sat through the webinar with our GM. It's like an experience, and I don't know shit about buying Lambos or whatever's nicer than that. But
You get a pair of like fucking Pumas with
so
it.
apparently you get a custom fitted carbon fiber helmet. Like Harley measures your head for it. It's going to be just for you. You get some sort of passes to the Bagger Racing League, like all access to all of them. I want to say that
Probably
maybe-
king of the baggers.
I want to say, yeah. Well, I mean, whatever. Anything probably Harley's associated with.
Yeah. The bike has like a
wanna say
subscription fee.
You get some
You gotta
sort
pay
of.
You fucking Rolex with
$1,000
that
a
bitch.
month just to.
There's definitely more shit that
I'm sure they'll have like a custom key. I mean, the thing is that like if it's a race bike, then that's kind of like a stripped down version. But if it's a luxurious like all out bike,
I've heard it's a race bike.
That's what I heard.
It's damn near. I mean, it's almost Kyle Wyman's bike, just a street legal version. And there was some sort of you get the experience part. I think there's some presentation or acknowledgement in Milwaukee at Hometown Rally.
that'd be cool.
If you
So-
bought one, maybe at some point, somehow they're going to get you out there and whatever.
Yeah.
Does it have a dildo buried in the seat that fucks you in the ass, both physically and metaphorically?
Financially?
I hadn't seen
Yeah.
it. I've heard there's financing options available. You don't have to pay cash for it.
Oh yeah. You can find out. Oh, cool. Costs as much as a double.
It's
wide,
one of those
dude.
things where
Hey, look,
it's-
I'm talking shit.
I didn't like.
Fuck it though. If they,
There's been
I think
talks
it's still
about it and
cool.
stuff.
It's
Yeah,
still cool.
It's cool, but I'm not going. Give me every detail because
Yeah,
okay,
but
cool. Like,
how many
it's-
times we talk so much shit on stuff, and then it's just like, why are we doing it? Like, there's no point. Like, who gives a fuck? Just let them do what they're gonna do. It's fun. They're still releasing cool shit. Like all
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
STs
it's
and stuff are fucking great. The STs, there's
a-
cool shit that they're releasing. There's cool paint jobs. I still love it.
Yeah,
But
it'll be
it's also fun just to talk shit.
mega CVO. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just one of those where I have a feeling most of them they get bought aren't going to get ridden. You know, I'm sure Harley will probably get the first one. It'll go in the museum.
Yeah, if that limited number of a bike is definitely going to make it it'll.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll definitely hold its value, but it'll be a while before it's like, okay, now it's worth more. You
I
know?
don't think
Right.
you're going to have third coast. You know, I don't think you're going to have dudes from Houston that are buying them and go, I'm going to fucking tour the country on it.
Yeah.
Maybe, who knows? But I think it's going to be one of those ultimate just look at me, you put it up. You know,
Yeah.
Some dude's on it and fucking riding just dumps it.
I don't wash this motherfucker. Why I wash this motherfucker?
Well, the like if you
One
really
of
think
those
about it, what could they, what they're probably going to do, just thinking in my head, they have all these products they made for the race bikes, like the swing arm and all these things that are kind of like wild, but is set up exactly like Kyle Wyman's bike. I mean, is that ideally somebody wants to buy that? You know what I mean?
I'm sure there's going to be some compromises.
Well, I mean, it has to be
For sure.
I mean, do you want that ugly ass seat and the weird ass tank stuff going on? Like,
Right.
even then, like just mixing those two. Okay, you got the baddest, fastest, whatever machine ever, but it's got such a high price tag. I'm not saying some of the dudes that afford it can't really ride it, but I mean,
yeah, I mean, people do it
a
as
dude
they
that can
want.
stroke a check for 131, and if it's more than whatever, that just doesn't seem like there's a big Venn diagram of those guys. You're not going to see him on George Bush
Yeah.
on a Sunday when cruising. That's the ultimate fuck you money.
I'm gonna put that out in the ether. If you buy this bike, please let me know if I can draw a dick on it somewhere. I just want to put that in the ether. It don't gotta be anywhere permanent, but it would be cool to have. You'd be the only one with it.
Yeah, make your bike.
I'll charge you
unique.
$1.31 to do it too.
Truly one of one.
Well,
Yeah, I mean it's a cool thing.
Put it
Obviously,
on the
they're-
fucking
they're-
oil. I'll put it on the oil filter. That way, when it's there till your first oil change.
This will probably never happen.
Yeah, no shit. Well, there you go.
They're taking a swing at something they've never done. This
Well, I think
this
that-
doesn't affect me or I feel like any of us, like any boots.
Well, they've
on the
always
ground
wanted. It
will-
seems like the CEOs always wanted to try to create some kind of exclusivity into certain aspects of the bikes, right? And I mean, it's interesting. I think it's good. You know, like if they can sell it, whatever keeps Harley going. Like I'm down.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, like I like seeing them. I like seeing what's happened since Indians come out with the Challenger. How all these bikes are just getting lots of improvements, and not saying that I didn't enjoy the bikes the way they were, but you know, those bikes still exist. If I want a VVT Road Glide, I can go get one of those all day long. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it is nice seeing these bikes. Like I've said 100 times, man, I've had an ST. I loved it. But the new ST, it's not so much that the bag thing, none of that, but just that motor and what I know those high output motors can do relatively cheap. You know, like I like having power on my bike, but I don't want to have to go do big bore kits and all this crazy shit, injectors, but I just want to be able to throw a cam in it and enjoy it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Make it sound better, make it feel better, and I want to go travel the shit out of it.
Just
You know
rip
what I'm
on
saying?
it.
How about there's some options? I mean, we were talking about it downstairs. The 25 ST, I feel like they knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty fucking badass. Like they addressed the 2 or 3 things that people bitched about, the annoying stuff. But I've sat on it, man. I
chrome
swear to God,
options,
my feet
fucking
feel
killer.
it's not a stock 24. I feel kind of cramped. The 25s don't feel that way. I don't know how different the foot. It has to be something because I just feel like they knocked it out of the park. And again, options.
Yeah.
Quit giving us a shitty fucking bronze wheels and that's one of the things that I wouldn't say for the sake of like, I don't want something new. But when it came out, I was like, yeah, that's cool. But
Do it on
there was
every
something
single
about
one
it that I
after
was
that.
hesitant to really fall in love with. And I think giving the I've loosened my stance on it now. Just because every fucking ST they're the same. Oh, you got a black, you got a darker. Oh, but still all the options and everything. And just the fact that you have, black wheels.
Yeah.
It's not even real chrome, like brushed, whatever the fuck, but an engine in a different color and not the same
Well, I'm
fucking
just talking- I'm
accents
talking
and the
about the
same pieces that they had because
chrome
you
engine
ordered
parts and stuff
8
like
million
that.
of them 4 years ago. And you just, I don't know. I love it. I think they're badass. I don't even have a chrome one at the shop yet.
Did they stay with black forks on that?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it'd be tough to do all the chrome stuff, but it still looked great. Oh,
Yeah.
that blue one that came out. Congrats to Mark Collier, by the way, on buying that one.
Got
That
that
one's that one's tits. Maybe I'm a little biased on that one, but blue and chrome. And all.
I sold your bike, a 2018.
Oh, that blue
lowrider,
one that was up there?
Yeah, yesterday. No, not the one with the tank. This is a different one he got in.
Oh,
Some
okay.
old dude had it. It's got a Memphis shades on it, not paint matched, but it's got big dumb crash bars with highway pegs on it. Anyway, I sold it last night, and I was showing a kid today your bike. I was like, man, just this is same bike. He saw the thing. He's like, fuck, that is the same bike. I was like, but totally different. Just it doesn't take much for you to dial this in and not make it.
Yeah.
I don't have faith in this kid that he's not going to make it. Grayson County.
It's already got a get back whip on it, I bet you.
No,
He's already prospecting.
Yeah.
this was I guess he's 18 or something. He's just about to go to the Marines in like 6 months, and his buddy.
Fuck yeah. So it's in the garage for 6
he's got
years.
he's got a buddy who has parents that work at the shop, like a connection, and his buddy co-signed for him, and his parents had already kind of said something, but I guess he kind of took it light. Well, he went home last night, and all fucking hell broke loose with the kid is going to be a Marine, his parents. So that bike will be living at his buddy's house, and
It's going to get ridden.
I was not nervous, but I was thinking today, man, what if this dude's dad comes up here and tries to,
Reverse
we want
this.
out of the deal or, whatever. And he didn't, so
Yeah.
I don't know. But
Get your dad to be up his dad. Well,
dead dad joke.
I mean,
Kal's on the board.
it really wasn't trying to go that route with it, but it was more the get your dad.
Well,
to
that'd be a
up
little
his
tough, Kyle. We should have arranged that fight in like 2006.
Not gonna win that one today, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate when I accidentally do that because, Britta's mother passed away too when she was younger. And I'm like, we'll be joking with dad, like, your mom. And I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
I generally wasn't going for that too, but like in another setting, I definitely would still go for that one in that route. But
remind me of the Dan Soder's, multiple bits on it, but the one, his dad talking about being an alcoholic. You're like, oh, he's like, why? Because my dad partied harder than yours. Like, I fuck with the dead dad jokes.
Right.
Yeah.
I know you got.
I don't know if I should say I fuck with them, but
Like, hey, give them to me. Yeah, like
I don't want all your dead dad jokes, but
right time, right place.
something happens. Yeah, dude, I'm not dude sin. I'm not gonna get thrown off and get all weird and just joking. Fuck you, dude sin.
yeah. So how working up there now? Like, how do you like?
It's totally different from the last time we talked, and I don't exactly remember. It's got to be about a year.
Yeah, because you did the Patreon garage talk.
Yeah, I was.
Last time.
The first time I was life-wise, I was coming at a different spot, and it was a lot coming at me, and you don't want to mess up. And now it's a little more like playing with house money. It's fire me. My initial goal was let me get a year, marry this place, get some experience, get some resume, whatever. I've got it, and it's kind of come together. Some of it personal life, just being in a happier spot with just everything. A sports analogy, that second year quarterback, the game slows down. All of a sudden it's the training we've been doing, the holidays sucked, dude. It was slow industry wide. And there's a lot of, you don't have time. It's like off season, basketball, football, whatever. You're practicing against your own team. You're doing just scenarios and let's just act this out. But you don't have, you get rusty or whatever the fuck. You start thinking about stuff, and last 2 or 3 days, man, we've hit it hard. And it's one of those things where as I'm dealing with stuff, just the comfortability. Like this guy says something, and instead of like my brain, like thinking what I need to do, I'm already hearing something that the training, and you say it, you delivery's more, everything is, you're not worried about somebody leaving. Guess what? They're going to leave. You're not worried about somebody saying no. Guess what? They're going to say no. My job essentially is no different than hitting on a chick. My job is to hit on chicks all night long and see if one of them will go home with me. It's kind of the same thing.
Expect the worst, hope for the best kind of thing.
Exactly. And it's, like I said, just the pressure, the whatever. And there's things. I wake up, man, I need to dial this in. I could be a little bit better on this. I've been slacking on this. But yeah, a lot of the anxiety about it, the nervousness. I'm not a natural sales guy. They fire me today. I'm not down at Toyota tomorrow selling Camrys. Yeah. Never planned to be. But I feel like I've learned enough, and I could transfer this to somewhere else if I had to. Yeah. And if nothing else, like I said, now I was there a year. I missed. My goal was marry this bitch for a year. No off days, no fun days, whatever. I missed 2 Saturdays for funerals, and these weren't, some dickhead I went to high school with, there's close, like fucking ground shaker funerals I would do anything to have avoided. I missed 2 days. I might have taken a Wednesday, here and there off or something, but I married it. I gave up. That's why the Polaroid was such a big thing for me, because that was kind of my, all right, present to myself. And I told everybody, I was like, I know it's a Saturday, I hate it, but guess what? If I don't fucking go do this, I wouldn't be working here. I wouldn't know you fucks if it wasn't for events like the Polaroid, if it wasn't for the people and the relationships that are going to be there. And I was like, I literally, I can't talk to one more fucking troglodyte out on the porch, about a Road King Classic or why, if I don't get the fuck out and go kick it.
Yeah. And I need to go fall in love with bikes again.
Yeah. And, remember why the fuck I'm here, the passion. Yeah. And it worked. I had an awesome fucking time at the Polaroid. I went back singing its praises. I know I'm in a good shop because everybody was super happy for me. And it, kind of reignited the fire. And just that whole playing with house money. James sent the dates for the big trip this year. I didn't really trip. I told him right away. I was like, hey, I just got these dates. I want to get it on the book now. And I didn't have to say, I'm not really asking, I'm telling, but it was just one of those like, hey, by the way, here's a time off request for here. Go ahead and get it on the books. Just because I'm, if it comes up, it's a problem or whatever. Well, then I guess we need to talk about it, because I'm not going to be here those days. It just is what it is. Yeah. And that's something, if they can't, and I may be making them an enemy unnecessarily, I missed 2 Saturdays, be gone 8 days from the shop. if I'm even still there by June. Who knows? Fucking life changes every 30 days.
Yeah.
But if I am there, sorry, guess what? This is something I've been talking about for a year to a lot of these fucks that come in here.
Bro, you can't hold people hostage at a place like
Yeah,
that.
I finally get to accomplish this goal that I turn around and use as something for you guys. And, I'll take some t-shirts, I'll try to get some content, and it's ultimately something you guys can kind of use while I'm going, oh, hey, fucking Jaden's, let's see where it's. I can make it where kind of everybody wins. But yeah, it's not where a year ago, oh my God, I couldn't have. I told y'all.
When you had to
I
go
was
to camp
lucky
out
last year that we kind of as a group took a break because I didn't know if I was gonna, kind of multiple. It wasn't all just because I was afraid to take off work, but I was like, man, I definitely don't want to miss, a week and a half of work, kind of be in the new dude. We've had so much turnover there, and I'm just secure. I'm a very I can overthink stuff, and I'm secure with where I'm at. It's one of those things where I'm like, and like again, even if it all went to hell, if I did something terrible bad and they fired me, it ain't the end of the world. But at the same time, I know I've accomplished what I'm doing. I know the asset I am to the shop. So if I can do, let's let it roll.
Yeah.
I could walk into 5 other dealerships tomorrow around the Metroplex. It probably wouldn't be as much fun. Scotty, Ricky, I've got some fucking dudes up there that are cool that I genuinely like hanging. I brought 2 of them to bike night. And speaking of that, one of the guys came back and he was like, man, he thanked me like twice this week. Thank you so much for bringing, he doesn't drink, he doesn't party. He just around people like that. He's like, thank you so much. I can't wait to go back more. Yeah. And I told him, I was like, dude, not everybody, you don't have to be a Dudesen or a loud guy. There's, that's the beauty of our fucking thing is it's a big enough group and there's no ego. It's not a club. You can kind of click up and niche out. And to me, there's nothing more rewarding than dudes that met at bike night and then seeing them split off, and do their own
side quests and shit.
And dude, dudes in Big Chungus doing their little thing. They are fucking fast friends. That's what it is. That's the whole fucking point of this. Mm-hmm. And as I've been there more, I try to, and these dudes see them, same thing like y'all. They've said, dude, you're a different fucking guy around these people. Yeah. So it's just trying to capture that magic and, be the guy at bike night that you're at the shop. And, within a reasonable.
Yeah, I hate that you missed out on Born Free Texas last year because last year Born Free Texas was literally, it was it. It was its, and I've said it in videos and other podcasts, but it was its own thing finally.
And what that was, it's October, right?
Yeah, middle October, like the 20th.
Okay, so that's the one. I made whatever we had going at the shop and everything. I just made the call. It's like, man, if I jammed out here, I'm getting down there right around 8. Like it'd be kind of sketchy. And then I'm there the last night. And since I'd done the camp out kind of that way, I was like, you know what? I'll be all right. This my identity doesn't. Some dudes I think, I gotta go. People, no, I would have loved to be there, but in hindsight, that was I had a costume party with my better half that we did. In hindsight, if I would have gone to Born Free, that was I hate to bring the room down, but that was the night my cousin died. He's 25. He had a motorcycle wreck. I was in McKinney in bed, and I woke up in the middle of the night to pee, and I saw my mom had called me at 3 a.m. or whatever. I was like, what? And I was, you're drunk, you're asleep or whatever. Woke back up at 5 or 6 to pee again. I saw she'd called again. I was like, something happened. So I was in McKinney. I was 15 minutes from my family's house. Thank God. Had I been at Born Free, I would have ridden down there, had a few hours. I probably would have been way more hammered than I was. And I would have had to, turn around and go with the worst. Yeah. So in hindsight, it worked out for the best, but there's no way you could have known that. The lead up, I hated going to it. At that point, I was still in my time where, hey, you signed up for this. Yeah. You're getting closer to the end of it, but you're still within your year where you told yourself, accomplish a goal. Mm-hmm. I have so many fucking friends that do things I'm proud of, and I'm lucky and proud of, I'm not friends with losers. So at some point there's, I draw off you guys and set a goal, fucking accomplish it, and that's kind of where it was. So it was bittersweet, but at the end of the day, I just, what were you talking about the other day? Nitty Gritty. Yeah. Dude.
You going?
No, but just because I just missed Saturday, but it's one of those things where I hate it, but I feel so happy with where this where our people are and the fact that it's turned into something. Nitty Gritty was the first thing you me, Mark, Chief,
Kyle
did.
Kyle was on. It was us three that rode together down there.
No, the first time we
when you stole the fucking the police car.
Telling you, man, I think that
Kyle was with you because I told
there was one before that one too, I think. But yeah,
that
was the big one.
I've got a picture in Kyle's.
That was my first one going to.
But we went to one.
Kyle and I went to one or two alone. We're the only ones from Dallas going. It was cold. It sucked.
Yeah, it was the second time because the first time we went, and that's when Cody B and all them met us down there, and Mark met us there, and we stayed. We got fucked up at the damn Twin Peaks and met Todd. And went back
to a different time from the one that Larry and Cody and Jacob rode back in like the fucking onesies.
They rode back in the onesies from Lone Star Rally.
Was that Lone Star Rally?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought that was from.
So that was the first year where we met Todd.
Yeah, because the reason I remember telling James I was like, you know what, I'm gonna ride down there with them because you guys kind of came into the fold a little later than like some of us that had already kind of been doing stuff. And I was like, man, I want to get to know these guys better. And that's why all three of us went down there.
And I could look it up. What was it, September?
No, November.
November?
Yeah, it was in November.
Okay.
That was the first year.
It was freezing on the way back.
Conroe, yeah.
All right.
It's like fucking 40.
That first year, we met Mark down there. We went with Chief. I've got a picture of like our Cody met us.
We left here because we rode back roads to 45 from here, you and I. And then we met you somewhere, or unless you came here. I know that we met here. Some of us did. I don't know if all three of us did or not, but
we went to a few solo after that.
Oh yeah, a couple.
Yeah.
But the first one, that's the one where the guy jumped the bonfire, and like I said, Mark and
was that on that one? The bonfire jump was the one we went to, and then the following year that me and you went,
and it was cold. We walked in.
Someone cut their finger.
I think Larry met us down there.
Well, we walked in, and it was all the Houston dudes.
We hung out with Adam.
But the first one. That might have been the first event where I was fucking like blown away. Like I didn't know this shit existed. Like the first Nitty Gritty might have been what really hooked me.
Because that was 2018. So this is that timeline, right? So in 2018, we had the first camp out, which was in September at the time. We do the camp out. It was 40 of us, 50 of us.
Giddy Up.
But Giddy Up, we weren't together in Giddy Up yet.
That was 2018 though.
Because I started the bike night thing in April.
Giddy Up in 2018 is when I met you for the first time. You and Jesse.
Yeah. So
I met Jesse like the week before.
We were there, but we didn't start bike night until the end of April, beginning of May.
For sure.
And then
but I know that was 2018 when we Giddy Up. 2018 is the first time I met anyone. That's when I rode with Justin down there.
Yeah. And so what we ended up having that the end of that year was like stacked with shit because we did the camp out. We got back from that, and then in October we did the Simpson camp out. Remember that?
Yep.
And then we did the Nitty Gritty thing, and I don't think I did Lone Star that year. And then
we had an Austin
in January is when we did we did an Austin trip. That was for the Easy Rider show.
Yeah.
But January is when we did January is when we did the Austin trip because we rode with James's car down there.
Yeah.
And that's when we did Easy Rider, and we had that hotel room with all of us in there. Not hotel room, that condo.
Airbnb.
So it's like, I mean, that's kind of how this stuff happens, and that's why it's like it's important for, like all the newer guys that come to bike night to have those opportunities and because they're carrying that legacy that we all started, right? And you want them to be able to create their own stories and be backed by us and be a part of it with them. I mean, like I said, their enthusiasm can also act as like a motivator for some of us old guys.
It's infectious.
Like,
it's hard not to get inspired when you see a dude kind of doing it for the first time, having that raw, just pure entertainment, enjoyment. Yeah. But the whole thing about the first Nitty Gritty, that was kind of what I'm fucking in, dude. I didn't know this shit existed. All of a sudden, I'm camping with this dude from East Texas. I don't know. This is a fucking guy from Austin. I think he may have worked on my bike at that. Like, it was just, fuck, I didn't know this shit existed. That guy jumped the bonfire. To me, that was it. That's probably the what locked me in to the point where the next couple of years it wasn't even an option if I wasn't going. Him and I remember kind of not being mad at him, but it was fucking cold and I was, underdressed or whatever. And Kyle's thing was like, well, fuck, let's just go faster through it. And I was just like, slow down, you fucking asshole. But that was when we got there. We got a cool picture in front of it. And like I said, that was when Nitty Gritty was brand new. They were trying to start it. So to see it keep going and to see not only it keep going, and so happy for Eric and just that whole scene that it's gone up, but dude, to see it become my friend group's kind of, especially as the campouts, that it's kind of taken like this is our thing now. Like this is the close, dude. That warms my heart, and I want to be there, and I would be there, but I was just off for the Polar ride, and I got to keep a little powder dry for the big trip. I got to miss 2 Saturdays, but that's the only. It's not I don't want to go, so I'm going to miss you guys. It's truly parental or whatever you want to. It's in good hands. I know it'll be fine. I know everybody's gonna have a good time. So I truly am fucking happy for everybody.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Connor and I went last year.
I'd make it if I could. Do I want to add that stress? Like I said, that's Saturdays. I make, that's where I make a.
So Connor and I went down there last year, and we didn't really know what to expect. I mean,
It was sick.
it was sick, dude. It's like, and you and Cody and them were already there, right?
Me and Kano rode down from Terrell.
Yeah,
We just
bar hopped all the way down.
And then met Cody in Palestine.
Yeah, you can go to jail with Cody and Cano, and you're gonna have fun. Anything you do with those two guys, I mean, it's impossible to not have fun with those two folks.
Yeah, it was great.
But just it was one of those things where like we were all definitely the last people awake at the entire campground, right? And it was just fun, man. And it's like I don't know. I felt like, and I wanted to ask you guys like how y'all feel about like the camp out being over, and it's probably more important than what I'm about to say. So it's like, how do you guys feel about, this is the first year in 7 years that we're not right now doing a fucking Fast Life Camp Out 8 podcast. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like as much as I miss it, at the same time, I'm kind of like, there's other stuff to kind of carry the torch a little bit, There's other stuff to do, and it feels a lot less, because I know it's definitely chaotic for you as far as the camp out was concerned, leading up to it and getting ready for it and all that stuff. But I feel like it was kind of like also on our shoulders too to kind of help promote and make it go, and like, which is obviously way easier on our end than it is on yours. But at the same time, you don't feel like you have to like, I don't know. It's kind of nice being a third party spectator on an event than as opposed to the one that's like
being an attendee.
Yeah.
And so the organizer
just showing
knows,
up randomly. Like last year for Nitty Gritty, you're like, fuck it, let's go. And you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna fucking slow roll our asses down there.
Yeah, I don't have to be there on time. Not trying to get there quick.
Get to see all the same homies, all the new guys, but you don't have to like, I don't know. There's no like itinerary, even though there wasn't everyone at the camp out, but like still there wasn't like a, I don't know. That would be the, I don't know. One way I feel about it, but obviously I miss it. Like the camp out's the shit, dude. Like that's like the one time of the year you fucking get ready for it and everything. But I don't know. This time I don't know. It's just.
Well, I like the fact that, I mean, it felt like my entire life in that like 3 months before, 3 months after,
right.
Was
and
always,
that's why I say it's so much heavier on your shoulders.
Always kind of felt like you have to set, like I couldn't make any plans. I couldn't do this. I couldn't do that. It's like we got to get past camp out before we start talking about what me and my wife are going to do for our anniversary and shit, depending on how much the camp out costs versus how much it makes with t-shirts, because at the time I dropped like $3,000 on t-shirts and hoping to sell them all out. And then if you don't, then you're like, fuck, man, like I barely broke even. You know what I mean? It's like, but yeah.
It's obviously exponentially more work, stress, whatever on you. Your name, it's the blessing and a curse, right?
Yeah.
Oh, his name's on it, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, his fucking name's on it. So if it sucks, that's direct.
Yeah.
So yes, we all did our part and whatever, but still we're there to try to make it fun. And we're all there being, our promotion and work in it was as
helped be the life of the party.
Yeah, it was as your friend thing where, like I said, you had the fucking lion's share of the responsibility and all that stuff. So
right.
In that aspect and knowing just kind of, I guess I'm happy to be taking a break.
Yeah.
I miss it. I love it. It's honestly, it's kind of surreal. It doesn't, to me, it doesn't feel real. Like
gearing up right now for it.
It doesn't seem like it's not going to happen. But fuck, man. I mean, we made an amazing event, and it's at some point, if you keep a band and actor, whatever, you keep going, you're going to run it into and the fact that you get to focus on other stuff, it gives other people chances to do stuff. So now, Blake wants to do his up north camp out. I think Steve's done with it. But if it opens up the door, up the window for somebody else want to do it, oh, he's got this, fucking do it. Try, take your best swing at doing some sort of event.
Yeah, it's like
if you want to.
It's like the whole concept of like ending something that is great is not so somebody else can just low hanging fruit pick it back up and just restart the turnkey business.
I'm exactly with you, but just for the sake of turning over the soil, whatever the fuck, give somebody else. You know what I mean? You never know who.
Gotta rotate your crops, baby.
Who's putting on lipstick, and you're at the top of their list of people that they want to kill. For nothing you did. So fuck it. Everybody wants to do an event, whatever. Guess what? This main thing it's off the table, dude. Let's.
Yeah.
If anybody,
well, like I've said it hundreds and hundreds of times before, it's like I got other ideas I want to do, and I feel like the camp out concept, it served a really, really great purpose, especially on like piggybacking on the timeline with performance motorcycles. Like I said, when the scene was small, it was a hub for people to do cool shit like ride their bike across country and party with like-minded people and do some old school biker stuff on newer modern motorcycles, right? So it fit that bill. And then, but there's so many events going on. You could just see it. Like people wanted to come to the camp out. They wanted to be a part of it. It was their favorite event. But now it's like the Daytona prep is bigger. And now it's like cutting into like, well, I don't know if I could take off another 2 weeks to go to the camp out and then this and then that. And then Texas Hills popped off and that was a good time. So people were like, oh, well, do I go to Texas Hills or do I go to fucking camp out? Like the just events kept coming. And the concept of doing a very simple event where you're not doing vendors, you're not doing all this stuff, it's like, in theory, it's great when you're there, but it doesn't hype up the crowd the same way that the other ones did. And so I kind of felt like, okay, well, the last 3 years, the last year was mellow. It was mellow. It was a good time still, but it was mellow. The 2 years prior to that, fucking ragers, right? But it's kind of like, man, I like that. I liked it. The camp out was all these different experiences depending on when you went. The COVID one, like literally the first event after the world shut down. And it was a small event, but we went from like, COVID was the third camp out, I believe, 18, 19. Yeah. So in 2018, our first camp out, we only had like 40, 45 people, something like that. Second camp out had 70 people. Mm-hmm. The COVID camp out had over 200 something people. So it had this big jump. And then we hit like 500, 600. And then we started getting into the 1,000, 12, 1,300 people things. So it's like, fuck, man, this is like way bigger than we ever thought it was going to be. I mean, to remember like when we all camped around the fire and now the fire pit's as big as our campsites where it was back then,
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to all fit inside
the ring
circle. And my first one, I remember just, I don't want to be on top of anybody, going just on the other side of the road 15 feet. And you going, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Come over here. Everybody's in here. So it's awesome to see it's awesome to see it grow. And but man, I feel like we gave people the template. We gave people it was on us to maybe feel like you gotta, jump the shark and whatever. But I think the camp out, maybe listen to the podcast and digesting trips and fucking any other media that they could consume, anybody else travels or whatever. But the fact that the camp out was a lot of people's trip, we were lucky to have the camp out and generally a big trip and a handful of homie little fun shit all year. I mean, for a while, dude, we're the fucking richest guys in motorcycles when it came to friends and fun times and all that. So there's no way you can convince me otherwise. Our lives were like a movie for a while, or at least it seemed that way.
Yeah.
So the fact that I feel like by like the end of it, you said, the last camp out was mellow. Maybe as far as like us going, okay, we got to do this. Like, all right, we'll just fucking chill. Dude, I know a bunch of motherfuckers from, what was that, Illinois? It wasn't mellow for them. Like, they partied. They're nut. I mean,
they did it right.
Each year was a different experience for everybody. Yeah. And what we did each year, you can't, because our third or fourth year might have been somebody's first year.
Yeah.
And, that kind of stuff. So I think if nothing else, seeing how many people made the camp out, number one of their trips. And then as it started growing, you would see people that, I'm here. Maybe I'm here for a night and 2 nights. But from here, I'm going here, and here. That they would use it as a spot of a big trip. And to me, that's,
that was the best way to do it. We didn't get to experience it that way because we were, we're only 200 miles away from it. But man, like when those dudes would make those pilgrimages and they start in Massachusetts and get bigger as they got closer, bro, like to me, that's the thing that I didn't we didn't foresee that happening when we were coming up with this idea. But the fact that naturally that's what people did was like, fuck, that's rad.
Yeah.
Because that's what we do to Born Free. That's what we did on our first trip.
Yeah. And to try to stay positive about it as far as the camp out ending and stuff, that's something I'll take away is, it's over and it'd be awesome to do it again. But how many people learned how to do a trip?
Yeah.
How many people learned how to fucking get together with a homie or two and go, hey, we're fucking going to this.
Yeah.
'Cause we're the idiots that we've missed out on the last 2 years. We're not doing it again. So we're going. And that made them take a trip.
Yeah.
Plan some stuff out and stuff that maybe change their lives. Maybe, maybe it's a highlight of their whatever.
Push them to try something new.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The same kind of, which I think is ultimately the ultimate motivation. I'm not here for anything other than I hope everybody has the best motorcycle experience possible.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about followers, credit, any sort of. I don't.
Yeah,
I don't. But dude, you want to talk about working me up to tears and fucking me talking to you and being so passionate about something? Tell me how you've grown. Tell me how you started out a single dude, solo dude, and now you've got a group of fucking homies. And even though you don't all match, they're your brothers, guys that you would. We don't
fuck with.
We don't play motorcycle. These are my fucking dudes. That's if one person had that, I feel like maybe I left it a better. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Just be a positive influence in a world with so much negativity. So that would be my glass half full. Because if I start going glass half empty, I'm naturally inclined to do that, and I can just be a miserable cunt.
Yeah.
If I'm always so that's one of those things where.
Well, I mean, I think the FOMO of it not existing will probably kick in for myself too when we get closer to it. But I mean, that's kind of like maybe the blessing and the curse of it is that we have the El Diablo ride. So that's kind of like happening right when we would have been doing a camp out. So it's like I still have that thing at that time of year to like it's going to be an experience and stuff. But it's like
That's growing, dude.
Well, I mean, like
you and
everything.
your wife started off going to Chili's. Well, now you're fucking. You know what I mean?
We still go to Chili's.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, but it's you know what I mean. Like it's this, but fuck. Now we go to the museum. I don't know why. It's doing something different.
Well, I mean, I think that's the good way to look at everything, and I guess because there's like Barella brothers, like they love the camp out, and he's expressed a lot of times that it's like really like it's a void in like their year and what they do and stuff like that. But it's like. You learn, like you just said, you learn how to do these things, and maybe you already knew it, but a lot of people learned. We learned how to do things, and now we can apply that to other experiences, other trips, other things. It's like for me, I like the idea of like we were saying before we really got into the camp out conversation. I like the idea of trying to bring like our element or our flavor or our aesthetic, style, fun, bringing people together to someone else's event that already exists. That way, all the responsibility of, the behind the scenes paperwork and legalities of shit, we don't have to deal with that. Like Nitty Gritty's putting on an event, and the Fast Life is putting on an event within it. It's the Fast Life Corral or whatever the fuck we call it. It's like you can come to this and not be a chopper guy, and still get to see all the cool chopper shit. But go fuck with people that I've been wanting to meet, Kyle or fucking Big Will Cody or whoever, see the bikes and see this. And it's still the opportunities there. It's just the venue changed. But then we also have a big activation, if you will, at Born Free, Texas. So Fast Life Hill is a thing now. It's going to be a bigger thing this year. So it's like that. I mean, you've been to Born Free before, but that thing that took place this year was like, okay, we got something here.
Graduated, took it to another.
Well, we figured out how the booth was like. It was.
You find a way to camp and set up shop in an area where it was like you don't got to move much if you don't want to, but you still can go out and branch out and do shit. But you have a home base.
Yeah.
And it was
And so we're trying to create the same vibe at Nitty Gritty, but I'd rather focus on helping those events grow.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, like I have ideas for events. I want to get my art show going first. My art show is like the thing that I want to make happen next. And even if it's a one and done, what I really want to do with the art show is like, if I could just get the Kessler, the Kessler Theater,
that'd be a sick one.
and have it set up where you walk in and there's like 5 invited bikes in the theater. And then all the homies that do photography, they're all displaying their work. It's a full bar. Everybody's in there. It's just like it's a small, it's like seeing your favorite band at the smallest venue possible.
How much is it to rent that place out?
I need to reach out. I want to figure it out. I don't want it to be a vendor thing. I'm not trying to turn it into a fucking Mama Tried, but I want to showcase some.
They may work with you, man. You don't have like a promoter fee. I mean, you're not a band. You don't have, we need
but it's like
$15K to be there.
But it's also like for it to work and get people to come out to it, it needs to be on a day that typically that place is going to be booked, like for concerts.
They do a lot of shows. They do a lot of really good shows.
To have like a Saturday kind of thing, like that's prime real estate time.
It's gotta be worth their while too, because they can get some.
So I mean, I know that we can sell. The bar tab is easy, and I might lean back into doing it at the Herman Sons of Herman Hall.
Sons of Herman Hall would be
historic,
a great
cool
spot too, and I think
what about the Texas
with
Theater?
it being like literally walking distance from CBC as well.
Yeah,
you can kind of knock out two birds with one stone. As far as like people coming in from out of town, they got us like. You could pop back and forth. You're right next to Deep Ellum if you want to go fucking.
I guess it's just to me the Bishop Arts area is kind of like synonymous to my childhood and all that shit.
Sure.
And
it would still be great over there.
The Kessler Theater lit up at night with my FXR sitting in front or some Corey, a badass motorcycle.
Yeah.
Like that's a fucking image.
Color wise, Corey's would look.
Yeah.
Oof.
So it's like I want to create that, but also I've been wanting to do a run forever, like a thing where. It's almost like a camp out, but you're camping out or doing something in a different spot every night, which is obviously more complicated than like going and setting up a village, if you will, out there. But man, I don't know. Like there's everything that I want to do has existed in motorcycles before, but I'm trying to be open-minded to it. Like when I see things or I watch an old video or see an old magazine, I'm like, that can I twist this and turn this into something modern?
Yeah, how can I make it relevant now?
Yeah.
And we've always said that. We didn't I can show you pictures from the 30s, motherfuckers camping on motorcycles. We never said we've invented any of this stuff. All we've done is do it. And have a little bit of some sort of spotlight or whatever
megaphone
to kind of show you how to do it too, that you can do it. Because you're not reinventing the wheel here, but there's people every day that just never. I mean, there's people every day that want to ride a motorcycle.
Yeah.
And they get that motorcycle. There's people every day that want to ride with some. I mean, it just keeps going down the line, and it's one of those things where you're just showing people that maybe didn't even. And no, fuck showing people. You're doing it your own self.
Yeah.
You've only got one. We've all only got one shot, and at some point, dude, I want to travel. It's. You can't hate on anybody for where they're at. We've kind of where our big trip's at. Camping's cool. Depending on how long our run would be, if we're sitting up, it's.
Yeah, and that's kind of. I mean, when we started doing our big trips,
there's somebody that's gonna be the fucking cool. Like they never even thought about something.
If I'm not out of town for Fandango, because I haven't been yet, but we were talking last night. I think about this, right? Like doing Fandango, going for the day, and then all going to Waco Springs that night and just partying at Waco Springs camping. Like leaving before the sun goes down. So we're riding some of the best roads in Texas, River Road, going camping, setting up, and letting all the new homies who haven't been there, to get the vibe and get the fucking, the experience of the Waco Springs, New Braunfels, Texas kind of thing. So I mean, that's what I'm thinking. But it's I don't want to be the host of this event. I want it to be like, hey, look.
Be sit down, Steve.
Yeah.
Hey, dude, I'm fucking here.
I tried to FaceTime him last night, and then he texted me this morning.
I'm fun. I'm having out, but you don't have to really worry about him having a good time. Y'all are all performance guys? Cool. Or y'all are all these kind of guys? Well, cool. I'm kind of this kind of guy, but guess what? We all have in common? We fucking party. And we like having fun. I mean, it's think how cool it would be to, for him. He showed up. He's a fucking, but no pressure and all the fun.
Yeah.
Get you some of that.
Well, I just want to trying to get other guys in our scene to step up and, be like, yo, I want to put on an event, or I want not an event, I want to put on a ride or a get together. And everybody does here and there, but they do it kind of like, hey, I'm thinking about going on a ride this weekend. Like, no, dude, hey, I'm going on a ride this weekend. We're going to Hugo like you did the other day. Y'all can come down. If you don't, no hard feelings, because I'm already doing this. I'm planning this. It's what I was already going to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but no, just small things. I want I love the feeling of people getting to experience some of the things that we've done as a group or I've done individually, like I don't know, like I'm like, this is sick.
It's reinvigorating.
Yeah.
You know, seeing dudes like Dutson and I'm just drawing a blank, but a couple of these guys, you know, that are newer into the group, but you know, grabbing it both balls with both hands and running with it. That's inspiring. That's, you know, like I said, invigorating. That makes me, you know, want to, let's, you know, forget about it's just awesome. And I think that's just a testament of our group to keep turning over. And in a world where everything is, you know, cyclical and things come back around, giddy up. Yeah. How much longer before somebody goes, you know what, we're, you know, it's,
well, see, I think
maybe don't call it that, but just one of those things.
I think that, like, out of respect for Giddy Up, I know myself, I've been approached to try to put on an event down there. I think we've all just kind of like paid, like quietly, like not tried to put on a new version of Giddy Up as respect for if you didn't get to experience this in this area, then you just missed out, you know, like trying to recreate. That's what I'm saying. It's like, there's a part of me that I understand that like people want to still camp. And for the last 6 years, like we still go down to Waco Springs and camp. RIP Giddy Up. That's what this would kind of be with, you know, Fandango. Like, hey, let's go. We'll still camp here. We'll fucking, you know, toast to like how amazing that event was. But I don't want to recreate the event. Right. That needs to be what it was, and it happened. You know, because, well, I mean, what this might be ego talking, but it's also like the legacy of the camp out and us as friends and everything and all the people that came into it. It's like somebody comes along, they do the camp out at the same spot, the same time of year, but they do everything differently than what we did. They bring all the vendors in, they do this. Now it's a fucking huge party and it grows and becomes a big rally.
Who cares? That's
I mean,
their thing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
You know where it started? You know where it started? You got the fucking idea from us. And that, and the old guy and the new guy, guess what? Y'all can meet at 7-Eleven, talk about what you did, and both of you better have $1.50 for a cup of coffee because everything you did ain't buying you shit. Yeah. So it's one thing, who ultimately cares? If it gets, you know what I mean? I mean,
to me, I care because it's my fucking life and I put a lot of energy into something. And at the end of the day, when you build things that you don't make money on, the only thing that you really get out of it is the reputation and the legacy out of it. And when you're trying to build something and continue to build something, you need to have that credibility to apply that as credit to the next things you want to do. So when you put on a good event and it worked, then I want to be able to say, hey, look, we're the guys that created the Fast Life Campout and we're bringing you this now. So having that reputation and that legacy, you know, not be tarnished and tainted through people fucking it up. It's kind of like if you just like don't have, like if you let bike night go to somebody that has no real intentions or understands why bike night's the way it is, and then it turns into a fucking, there's bands playing and fucking, you know, giveaways and shit like that, then it becomes like not what we did, you know? And I'm glad that it still exists, but now it's like every other bike night, you know? So it's like to me, there's nothing wrong, and I don't think there's anything egotistical with thinking about things you do as a legacy for your brand or yourself, you know, because if I died tomorrow, you know, the only thing my kids are going to be able to get from me is a couple bikes that they can maybe sell. But for everything I'm going to miss in their lives, I want them to at least see like what I did with my life and what's attached to my name and my brand and, you know, that shit. You know, that's the kind of legacy you want to, I mean, I don't know. Like, I just think about that. So to me, it's not, you know, I don't put I try to put everything I got into everything I do. And so, and I never think about money because it's never really about money. That's why I complain about not making money after I do the things. I'm like, oh man, I wish I was making money doing this, but it's like, I think all the best things that have ever happened or the other events or ideas or whatever, it comes from a place of like, I want to do this because I want to experience it. There's no money aspect of it.
And then figure out how to make money out of this.
Yes.
And that's kind of where I was going with the Giddy Up. Maybe not necessarily recreating it in, you know, your image or whatever, but just the fact we get far enough away from just an event where it was, I mean, because I heard about Giddy Up when I had a Yamaha Bolt before I knew any of y'all. And how long before somebody picks it up and it just hits that event where it's just come. All bikes welcome.
Yeah.
come fucking camp, come hang out, stuff that,
Don't
like I said,
come.
as a guy without riding friends, something that appealed to me, and I pushed out at least once where I was like, man, I got no reason not to go other than I don't know anybody, and what if I get down there and it's
What if they don't like me?
yeah, kind of thing where, you know what I mean, and then sooner or later, but just having that event where somebody's gonna have the balls to go and they're gonna go and admit that then all of a sudden they're there. It's it's a microcosm of
Yeah, you want. I'm not saying
a
that
bike night's a
like
microcosm.
there shouldn't be another. I mean, Giddy Up is similar to Nitty Gritty,
And I wasn't saying
like,
you have to do it. I was just saying, but how long before somebody
Yeah.
does hey, come ride your bikes down here, come camp, everybody's, you know what I mean? Basically starts the process over. And out of that, maybe there's some young dude
Yeah.
who's like, this is the fuck, and all of a sudden he,
Yeah, exactly. I'm not saying that people don't make events. I just think that sometimes, like, if you're gonna do something, then try to do it with intention and some integrity, and don't just rip off what someone else did. You know what I'm saying? And if you are gonna rip it off, at least lead forward with like paying homage to the people that's done it. I didn't, I made sure the entire time I was building, that chopper, the FXR chopper, to pay homage to the inspiration for this thing. Not to be like, oh, well, one day I woke up and I had this grand vision of like this bike I wanted to build,
all
and it
me,
came to
baby.
me.
Yeah, I think that's
So
just real though.
But that's how a lot of things are. People are very, not people, I'm generalizing here, but a lot of the motorcycle industry is like that. Like they are very, Corey deals with it all the time. Corey's helped almost everybody on an M8 FXR build. They don't sing his praises that much. You know what I mean? And it's like, in this world where you have knowledge and you have the ability to kind of pass it down to people, the same way he's doing to me with fabrication and helping me with like these builds and stuff, like all people really, I mean, it's kind of frowned upon to ask for it, but we all want it. We all want validation. We all want to, be appreciated. Like that's part of our DNA as men. So when you have a skill or you do something that people enjoy, even though I can't outright go, did you enjoy that? I mean, you can't do that. That's frowned upon. But the truth is like, I'm not getting shit out of this deal. At least make me feel good about this. You know what I mean? Yeah. And to me, it's like, it's those like weird gray areas where you're not supposed to be this, but realistically we all kind of not crave it, but it feels good. And it keeps you kind of, I don't know, like, I remember we used to talk about this when we did some of those podcasts out here, just me and you, on the Patreon and shit. I'm like, there'd be times I'd wake up the next day after a rage and be like, man, why the fuck am I doing a podcast? This is so dumb. I'm an idiot. I can't speak good. Why am I doing this? And then there'll be a fucking message this damn long on my phone the next day about how this podcast or some guest on it changed their life or opened their eyes to something new. And I'm like, fuck, I guess that's why I got to keep doing this. But it's like, if I don't get enough of that, then you get in your head and you overthink and you're like, fuck, man, am I relevant anymore? Do I need to just go get a job? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like, that's kind of what, like, that's
a certain amount of ego, especially in this industry, roles, like a certain amount of ego is not only healthy, but necessary. You have to. It's just the whole.
Yeah, it's just how you use it. You know what I mean?
And just realize that that's just the way of the world. You know what I mean? There's always going to be somebody that's Jesse James that's influenced people. You're never getting all the credit. You're never. Yeah, it'd be cool if everybody did, but they're not. And I feel like the real ones would give you, hey, dude, fucking shout out to this guy who.
Yeah, and it's not so much I've always craved, like, I want people to say, Jace, you're awesome.
And I'm not saying, I know you, so I know it's not like that, but it's just.
I just want people to say, you know what? That campout did this for me. That podcast did this for me. Like,
just be humble enough to say I was inspired by something else.
Yes.
This don't
in the same way you were inspired.
This is my idea.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I try to lead by example. So, like,
Right.
Always pay homage to the people that inspire you, even if it's just a fraction of it, And it goes a long way because the people that, when I say, hey, man, I mean, me and Al Emerson, the guy that inspired me largely to build that chopper.
I remember that when he was first building that.
Yeah.
The first one he did.
Yeah.
I was like, I remember when that came out, I was like, dude,
we talked for hours at Mama Tried, and he appreciates the fact that I've leaned in to praise what he built that inspired me. And it's like, I'm not doing it for anything. I'm not doing it because I wanted to build me a bike for free or, anything like that. It's just genuinely, I appreciate the fact that he did something cool and I was able to do something cool off of what he showed me was possible.
Yeah, because you're a good dude. You're not a fucking dirtbag who's, oh, this is my chopper, and I want you guys to build choppers the Jace Hudson style.
Mine's
dude, you're a real
different
motherfucker.
because
This is who inspired me, and that's why the line keeps going. And sooner or later, there will be a dude, whether it's painting, building, whatever the fuck, who's gonna go, man, fucking Jace Hudson. I'm a big fan of the Fast Life Garage. That's where I got a lot of my inspiration. I mean, I'm cyclical. I believe that will come too. But you're 41 or you're still a young dude, man. It's,
I don't feel it.
we've talked to I feel you there, but I mean, we've talked to dudes that are doing this into their 60s.
Yeah.
So it's just, and we happen to be in a generation that no, where probably enough, be honest, there's enough dudes probably don't give enough credit.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be looking cool and relevant and whatever. So welcome, man. You and the real motherfuckers, they know what you do. They know what you bring. And
Well, that's kind of the thing.
you got an army of people out here that are willing, that, oh, somebody says something negative. And I've never been confrontational, but I've checked a bunch of people where you don't know Jace, dude. It's like saying Joe Rogan because you listen to his podcast. Like, he's it comes off this way. Sometimes the questions are framed this way, whatever. But Jace is one of the, but I don't know. I sing your praises to people where it's like, you don't know him. You something he said pissed you off, or you're talking to somebody else that he pissed off, that whatever. But hang around him. I always just shout, just hang around him and see if he, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's kind of the proof in the pudding.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. But I mean, that's you sign up for that though when you do this shit. Not everybody's gonna like you. Not everybody's gonna deal with that. To say it doesn't bother you, it don't bother me. And I don't know. I don't give a shit. You can't cry over something you didn't know exists. But at the same time, it is weird when like people will kind of form their own narrative. Like hating to hate. You know what I'm saying? Like that's always a weird one. That's when I had to check myself before. I'm like, like why am I hating on this thing? Like it had nothing to do with me. Why am I just every time this comes up, I feel like I got to say something negative about it. Why? At the end of the day, it's like I notice when people do that shit, and I think like, oh man, that dude's just fucking.
Man, and I'm not trying to make this like a self-full.
Oh,
you're already winning. If you can do that, if you can step back and say things like, man, why am I doing this? You're already winning.
Yeah.
There's so many people that are just in that endless loop of, oh, they hear themselves, they're never wrong. So if you can actually question yourself, and to me, that's maturity.
Yeah,
I know that's what I'm still an idiot, still make bad decisions, but I do feel like I've recently kind of hit a maturation point where I'm doing things different and taking whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
You should put an "I love haters" sticker on your bike.
Man, that's to me. That's just
That's the dumbest.
that's
shit in the
cringy
world.
shit.
That's the
Haters make you famous.
Was it they hate us because they ain't us?
Yeah.
That's another good one.
That concept, that shit, that's unwanted attention that I don't really.
It's all it is.
It's feeding on it. It's
Yeah,
enjoying. You just said if something happens, you don't know. Why do I care? How do I know if somebody doesn't like me if I don't even know? Like it's the same thing.
I don't need any friends.
If you're paying attention, then you're paying too much attention.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, like I said, there's just so many cool things going on. I mean, I am bummed that I'm not going to be on the big trip with you guys this year. I got, as soon as James and Cody and those dudes left out on the one last year, when I knew you guys were going to meet up with them with Jones, I was like, fuck, man, the FOMO is kicking in. Like it's been my life for a fucking long time. So not having, the meeting before and all the things that we did to grow. It's like, like we busted ass to create and be a part of those things. And, now it's like, once you guys finish those states, fortunately, I've already ridden those states. So I'm not like, and honestly, if we're going to do this forever, we'll cross these states again.
I was just going to say, I'm down to mentally say, I still got to do those two with Jace. I know we've done Florida together. I think we've all done Florida, just not
as a group.
All as a group. So it's,
but like to me, and not to throw any kind of like, even saying this, I feel like saying it this way, it sounds like I'm going to say something negative, but I'm not trying to throw shade at it. But like I have to be very intentional with the trips I make because of like my financial situation right now. Just trying to stay afloat with the podcast, and the economy's down, and it just like it's affecting bike sales, it affects sponsorships on podcasts. It affects like paint jobs on helmets and motorcycles.
It's affecting. I work as a government contractor. It's affecting us.
Yeah.
If it's affecting us,
you
it's
text
affecting every motherfucker.
Did you text Elon and give him 5 things you did last week?
Fuck no. Fuck him.
Job next week,
Yeah.
just like me.
I'm a military contractor, baby.
Oh, there you go. But like I said, I mean, there's in our core group like that. There's been a lot of guys that's had to course correct over the last couple of years. I mean,
For sure.
to think that we're gonna all be able to just be on this fucking cloud nine 8 years in a row. We're going on 2-week trips all over the country, wilding out. Like the bound to have. I mean, crazy thing is nobody got pregnant, right? Nobody's got a kid on the way or whatever. Couple guys bought some houses, which is dope. You, James, fucking Jacob bought his house out there.
Yeah.
But like it got kind of turmoil just like with jobs and everything last year. Like you were saying,
yeah, we had a health thing. Somebody had a surgery.
Yeah,
like it was just one of those life years, and maybe it was naive to think it would go on into perpetuity like that. Because I know at one point, man, I'd be at the house with the chick going, "I'm doing this every year until I'm dead." Like, fuck off. Like, there's no. So, yeah, dude, we had a fucking magical run, but that's life, and the fact that everything that's happened. Could have been worse. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
we could still
we had
do
a
it
good
in a new
run.
way now that we've.
Yeah, I mean,
they crossed off all the states
we
this
lived
year.
a fucking movie for a few years.
Yeah,
I mean, stuff.
And I mean, honestly, like it'll get back to that. The core,
for sure.
The core things that like.
Well, honestly, I'm maybe putting some cards on the table, like internal. But when the dates changed the other day and the text came about it, I probably should have checked, but I kind of thought because before it had been locked in on July 4th, whatever. And honestly, in my own, I was like, I don't know if I can do that, man. July 4th, that's a big holiday, and to just be on a bike trip. And then all of a sudden the dates changed, just some dates in June.
Work better for sure.
I thought y'all would probably, I was like, you know what? I bet somebody talked. That's why the dates are changed. And I was hoping it was going to be all in. And that's why I was so quick to go to work. Hey, I'm off these days. Like
they did the work for you as far as planning it. The only thing July 4th would have been cool for me is because I get July 4th off at work, but it falls on a Friday. I'm already off on Friday, so I'm still taking the same amount of time no matter what. So
well, like I said, I thought you and James or Cody or whatever, somebody had talked and you had said, you know what, I could do it June. Like, that was just reading the message going, the date's changed.
Well, I mean, if I
this.
was going to be able to go, the July 4th would be better because it's like. Born Free is like one of my every year I go things, and so is Sturgis. So it's like those two events are as much as they are like vacation, they're also work, and I need to be at them. So I mean that's the only reason why I haven't really done Laconia because Laconia is literally on the other side of the country.
Yeah, that's tough.
And Born Free's there, and I need to be at Born Free. Like Laconia would be a great experience as a just a fucking. A biker to go out there and experience this legendary rally. But is it going to fill the cup on the business side of like what I need to be doing with the Fast Life Garage? Unless I can go out there and YouTube is becoming a bigger part of our. The thing that like I wish, the biggest thing I'm bummed out about is I wish that I was where I'm at camera wise and, hey guys, here we are, fucking waterfall. I wish I was that when we did some of the most epic shit we've done in our trips, like Pacific Northwest or fucking the first New York trip. Dude, that one. You know what I mean? Like, I wish that I was able to capture that way. Fortunately, James did through his GoPro stuff, and we've always got those clips and those videos to kind of live through. But, and that's why I'm hoping that like you guys get this states out of your system, and then let's plan some fucking cool shit. But we all got to get back to hanging out now. Like I like if I'm going to go travel, like I need to have more interaction with everybody. It can't be I see you, Christmas, Easter and fucking 4th of July. And then
I totally get that. And I'm about to go get a beer, but that as a counterpoint, I think that was one of the coolest things about our groups. Polar Ride was a perfect example. We can go long stretches of time. People can go through shit. You get, the 8 of us get together and it's fucking Voltron forms. We're back. It's like no time is missed.
No time lost,
and that's awesome. And you know what? If it takes a year or two, whatever, I think at some point cyclical again, it'll come back and go, dude, what the fuck, man? We had
say cyclical one more time. You just learned that word?
What? I still drink on the way to work.
That is true. He sent me one the night last week, like in the morning. Just a fucking him, fucking listen to whatever, driving his truck to work. And fucking Miller Lite in the fucking center console's like 9 in the morning. I'm like, he still got it. My boy still got it.
Well, there's, you got to fucking get there. I get stoned in the morning. I just talk and listen. Or I don't have to talk. Just kind of, man, 2 or 3 beers on the way into work. You get there.
You put the microphone up.
make a couple. But it's one of those things where it's that, take the edge off and all of a sudden you lose. They've all told me before. I've had days where they've said, "Hey, go upstairs and drink a beer. Go do. Like, we need you.
We need Jay. We need Dragon.
Yeah, exactly. I've been told, hey,
They're gonna fucking breathalyze you and tell you it's not good enough.
So, but yeah, and I don't know. I love it. I feel like I've got a good like a good balance now. Of socially being ready to talk to people, but actually being able to do my job and whatever else. I don't know. It's a unique job.
Yeah.
It's it's not like anything I've ever done before.
It's kind of built for you, honestly, in that aspect.
You've always had that kind of knack of being able to just like spark a conversation with anybody, though. I guess the aspect of like you were never doing it with the aspect of like maybe I can make money off this conversation.
Yeah, and
selling a bike.
I'm not a pushy guy, and I'm not hey, you like this? Yeah, well, fuck, cool. You like this? No. Oh, all right, cool too. I'm not one. Oh, what about I'm not that guy. So there's a lot of times where you got to get it, but you get a couple, and I don't push people. I mean, I don't know if I get praised or reviewed or whatever, but I have customers that said he's least pushy guy. Like it's part of the reason I bought because I didn't feel any salesy stuff. He's just a dude.
And you're also like it. I think that a lot of the dealerships kind of sometimes, not a lot, like once again, I'm just super generalizing here. It seems like a lot of the staff has been salesmen from car dealerships. And so you get like a lot of people that don't understand the life that they're buying into, right? And you've done a lot of the shit that they probably aspire to do if they, depending on where they're at in their bike career, you know what I mean? So
yeah, it's one of those things where I was joking today about I've been profiled, but Ricky was talking to a lady and she said something about if some of these guys in here don't look like they've ever even ridden a Harley. If I buy a Harley, I want to buy it for somebody like you. And Ricky's long hair, he's tattooed. He owned a tattoo shop for 20 years. I mean, he's big gauge earrings. And he turned around when she said that, and he's like, she's kind of looking in my direction. He goes, "Are you talking about Jaden?" And she was like, "Yeah, because I don't have any visible tattoos." He's like, "He's probably ridden more miles than anybody in this shop. Like he definitely don't." And jokingly told me about it later, and I was like, "Fuck that bitch." But also, I'm getting profiled. I need a visible tattoo. It's
Mom.
It's a weird job, man. I don't know. I'm not gonna be there forever.
Yeah.
And then I'm fucking old banker Jaden over here. Like,
that's the other thing. Uncle Donnie cuts rates a little more. Jump back in my old gig.
oh shit!
I mean, I do think about it. There's days where you have a shitty day at the office, and still I've got buddies to goof off with, and it's, I'm around motorcycles all day. There is shit that I miss from the corporate.
Yeah, but that the stuff that you used to do there though at the corporate place, like that's like something you can't really do anymore.
Yeah, I know. Thank you, Circle of Trust. I meant more from the area of I can go in, earbuds in, zone into my stuff, and all I'm worried about is my job.
Yeah,
you're not having to.
Yeah, but having better people skills, it makes everything you do better. Like being able to communicate, articulate, and listen to people, like actually listen to people, it makes you a better at any job you ever do. Being more liked is a fucking benefit in the corporate world, right? I mean, it's not that you want to be a brown noser or ass kisser or whatever the hell, but you like, oh yeah, that's Jade. He's a fucking cool ass dude. Like, we get along with him. Like, you're not a weird guy that's awkward, that has weird outbursts because you're not really around people too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's something about being,
I've definitely got some chameleon factor where I could bullshit, get along with just about anybody. For a little bit, I could fake my way through it. I don't know a bunch about anything, but I feel like I know a little bit about a bunch of stuff. So generally, I can get in where I fit in with anybody for a while.
Yeah.
But then that gets, like I said, some of this is, we talk about, bottom of the barrel. Yeah. Which is, I don't even want to talk to you. Like, I'm actually getting dumber by talking to you right now. And I don't know. But it's fun. Like I said, end of the day, you do get to put people on motorcycles.
Yeah.
And you do get to, I don't want to say, make a dream, but some people, it's fucking rewarding, dude. There's days where it's badass rewarding. There's days where it's a job.
Yeah.
But pros and cons of everything. And
that's good. Oh, man. I'm trying to think of, did y'all bring some talking points? See about your notebook.
No, I brought that in case Devin was doing the board and got on some stuff. I just needed to like doodle some dicks or something. Oh, that's another thing. For the record,
I can put some dicks in there for you.
I need to give it to you. So I have, obviously, we all know what this guy is.
What he's capable of?
Yeah. He inspires me. And the drawing dicks and stuff is just a funny, all around pastime, whatever.
It's timeless.
Exactly. So I have started doing it at the shop. We've got a buddy we got a little sales tower where everybody has a computer or whatever. Well, he'll take his laptop to the other side where you can see the door better and just does all his stuff on his laptop. Well, he'll get busy and walk off, leave his laptop open. And I've got a portfolio of different dicks and stuff. Like nothing that even touches this guy, but stuff.
Dude, he's getting good.
Some of them are good. Some of them I'm proud of, but dude, it's a hit at the dealership. And everyone's, oh, they love it. And I had a manager tell me, he's like, dude, I was talking to somebody the other night at the bar, and he was like, man, who's that guy that draws the dicks at y'all's shop? He was like, I saw his work today. He's a fucking cool dude. Just talking to some bar in Denison. So I want to set the record straight. Yes, I draw the dicks around the shop, but I'm exactly.
I'm so proud.
I've always, every time if somebody's like any sort of praise, I'm like, you got to see my friend Kall. Check out this bar stool in Milwaukee that he took an existing dick and like. So if you're listening, this is the DeCasso. I'm just a sketcher. I'm just a lonely.
You're an apprentice.
Yeah, exactly.
There's some Banksies out there though that just do it with no recognition, and I mean, you gotta, like you said, you gotta just keep passing the praise along because there's some out there you see, you're just like, man.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know who Banksy is in the analogy, but yeah, I know what you mean.
More people than you think know that.
I feel like, do you know who Banksy is?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it hits pretty
Nice.
good.
Oh yeah.
You know what else enlightened all the management to, and a couple of coworkers never knew what docking was. I was talking to this chick. I thought,
What kind of boat you got, Jaden?
that's one guy. I said, y'all know what docking is? He goes, yeah, when you're pulling your boat up to the slip. Like, I was like, God, no.
Kind of.
But yeah, the chick that does all our internet calls or whatever, I thought I heard something. I said, hey, did you just page Ricky? And she goes, no, but that's fucking weird you said that because I was like, I'm 3 seconds away from I was about to. I was like, that's weird. She said, we're on the same wavelength. I was like, we're mental docking. She's like, what? I was like, you know what that is, right? She's real like repressed, horny, has a husband but hasn't had sex in like 3 years. Tells us this stuff, just volunteers it up. So I was like,
This is on the dealership tomorrow or next week.
Can't wait for her to hear this one.
She's cool. She's in a VR headset right now. She'll never listen to this. She gets home and like goes into the fucking Oculus, metaverse. I was like,
there?
So she's gonna watch this there.
I said, you know what docking is, right? She's like, no. And I was like, oh fuck. Well, the GM's office is open. He's in there. Well, I'm telling her.
Come on, follow me. Let me go show you.
I'm not yelling it. But then all of a sudden here I'm going,
Hey Mark, get your foreskin ready.
Jesus Christ, Jaden. And I sit back and looked at him, and he was on his phone. You could tell he was still thinking about it, and it's like another couple seconds like, what the fuck, man? I loved it. I was like, I just hit home. I can't believe he didn't know what that was. So I walked by the sales office towards the front of the door. I walked by laughing. What? I was like, I just had to tell Kenny what docking is. fucking, I was like, y'all know what this, right? 3 dudes. And one of them he's kind of a pervert. I especially thought he would know.
Yeah, the quagmire of the group.
Yeah. And none of them did. And I gave a very detailed description. And they're all like, I was like, this isn't a me thing. Like, y'all are the weird ones for not. I'm starting to think, who's lying? Which one of y'all are lying? Who's docked? Which one of you dockers?
They all think you invented it.
But yeah, then they got a good chuckle later in the afternoon. I'm like, man, I thought, where did you find? I was like, it's common knowledge. I feel like it's common knowledge. And it's one of those words that you walk by at bike night, just walk by a table and go, docking. Somebody's going to laugh. Like, it's just one of those, like, you can't not think of it and laugh. Yeah. So, well, that's what I try to do up there. Just
educate them.
Bring a little bit of the 21st century to Grayson County. one day at a time.
You guys need to get into the city more often. There's a lot of weird shit that goes on.
It's
the tamest of it all.
The commute sucks, but I do love being in McKinney. And McKinney's still 37 miles from Dallas. Like, it's not like you're close, but it's at least it's halfway.
Yeah.
It's like bike night. It's so nice.
It's more attainable now.
Yeah, we'll just know that I only have to get back to McKinney and not that extra, another 35 minutes or whatever. Yeah. But
it's been nice having you back because I was like,
I
felt like there's a fucking minute there where it's just like, well, I mean, we got it too. We understood you that far away.
We've all talked about that.
And I was like, I get the text like, hey, you going tonight? I'm like, fucking yeah, dude, let's go. Like,
well, some of it's just kind of getting back into the,
it's a routine.
You almost never want to go. It's a Tuesday, the week thing. Tuesday is my Monday. At one point, I had a whole spiel about if you worked Monday through Friday, how Tuesday was the best night of the week for bike night because Monday is your first day back. Fuck this. Wednesday, you're thinking about what you did on Tuesday, and you're having. The next thing you know, it's Thursday. I had a whole fucking spiel about it. My Monday is Tuesday. So there's a lot of, and I go hard sometimes on Sunday because that's my Saturday. Tuesday rolls around and you're
still kind of recovering.
Yeah, I gotta, that's our first day back at week, so we have an early sales meeting. Man, there's a lot of times by the time I get to Tuesday, I'm fucking done. I don't.
Yeah.
But it's also you had it real good, motherfucker. You lived a mile from bike night for 5 years, so this is the other fucking. You got to pay. It's
the other side of it.
So a bunch of motherfuckers that have driven in for a long time. You're not better than anybody, so do it. And then just working, when you said try to go every other week, I was like, that's a great baseline. If I go every other week, that's solid. Get your whatever. I'm going every week. And now I've got people at the shop. I mean, I brought Scotty and Chance, but there's like 4 or 5 dudes that seriously, one of them, one of our main master techs is a good buddy with Corey. And he's got a Road King FXRT Fairings built. It's tits. Like, they're all going to come down there.
Yeah,
At one point, we'll roll up like 6 deep. It'll be fucking badass.
That's the point. I mean, last week was pretty packed at bike night, but it's, I personally don't like drinking. I mean, I love drinking. I don't want to go there and drink. I really don't. Like, because sometimes I want to go there, hang out, but it's not hard to get me to drink. I see everybody else, I'm like, fuck, I want one.
Dude, the FOMO's real. Whenever it starts hitting the end of the bike night, dude,
But it's like there's, it does kind of get a little bit, especially right now because we're starting to get back into like good, consistent weather. It's not consistent yet, but it's, we're seeing a lot of 70s on the forecast, right? And so
that's
that's
the time of the year where it can be damn near hot during the day.
Yeah.
But as soon as it gets dark, it's
cold.
going to get cold.
Yeah.
So it's just.
Well, that's why we put together the dinners. We wanted to do that big dinner coming up is because it's like everybody's getting ready to get out. And those little networking things, you got to understand, we did that shit back in the day. When we started bike night, we had all kinds of little things like that. And I'm trying to get back to doing those small, little get-togethers to get people connected outside of that one space. And crossing some barriers with people that are a part of other bike scenes and, shit like that. So it's like, now that we're getting back into it, it's like, man, there's so much going on. I go in on Tuesday, have a handful of drinks. Now I'm, feel like shit that night. I can't go home and work at all. And then the next day, there's a podcast and, sometimes you need to have a podcast. You need to have a drink or two on it. Sometimes you don't, obviously.
2x4.
But there's just like I don't know. I mean, I'm just glad that it's still, everybody loves bike night. The people that show up now are still getting the same fucking energy and enjoy that we got when we first started going. But there's also like that line where it's like, I don't want it to get blown out. I don't want it to get blown out. Like I want it to be consistently where everybody can meet people, but man, I don't really ever want it to be like 100+ people every week. You know?
And I think just numbers. I don't know if we ever get there. Short of like a Born Free weekend pre-party, something like that.
Yeah.
There's just, I don't know if we have enough people to bring them all there. I mean, Fort Worth that came out, that was awesome to have them, but that's a rarity. That part of that was just
they
weather blue balls. Everybody was so fucking ready to get out.
The Fort Worth guys do pretty good when like during the season. They don't, obviously when it becomes like we're driving to bike night for the winter months, like that's usually when you don't really see the Fort Worth guys. And even once in a while you will. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but just the fact that they came out like that was awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. And it's I feel like it's still the same vibe. I know I looked up and saw Trey talking to people, welcoming people, making sure that I was telling somebody about that later this week. I was like, chance that I took. I was like, man, it's very similar to the shop, and I hate to keep bringing that up, but no bullshit. Like we have a friendly, and it's if you come in, you're not getting talked to, at least acknowledged kind of thing. And it's the same way at bike night. If I don't know you, you're sitting there. It's not the who's this fucking nerd? Did you see his grips? No, it's hey dude, I hadn't seen you before. You having a good time? Where'd you come in from? It's just making you feel welcome. I don't give two shits if you if you take it or leave it, love it, hate it, whatever the fuck, but you're getting talked to.
Yeah.
And I like that is kind of the standard for our bike night. And it's not a cool guy, it's not I've said it all before. You're never going to have the coolest bike at bike night. I mean, short of 2 or 3 people that maybe listen to this, you're not. Just whoever you are.
No, you're not.
You never know when Dwayne's going to show up.
Exactly. Dwayne, Corey, just anybody. Yeah. And if you're coming to have it, then you're kind of off already on your motivation. But it's exact. I mean, Chance said it, and he's kind of quiet, whatever. And he's like, he broed out with somebody.
That's a frozen one. Huh?
It's like that. You got your loud guys over here, and you got your quiet guys. But the point of bike night is you vibe with somebody. Next thing you meet them on a Tuesday. Maybe that Saturday y'all are doing something together, right?
Yeah.
And maybe 2 months from later, you're going to Austin, you're doing something. But the whole point is to make friends. Anybody, whoever you want. It's not that we're this big. No, that's unrealistic. There's no way 40 dudes all like 40 dudes. It's. But it doesn't have to be because there is no ego. It's that's so and so. They hang out all the time. That's fucking cool. But it's not they fucking clicked up like it's.
Yeah,
I don't know. And it's Devin's been so cool, and having not been there consistently for a lot, and then coming in and hearing people obviously kind of still having your spot or whatever the fuck that means, but having people refer to you as like an OG and that kind of stuff. I'm like, man, that's awesome. It's the best thing you can do because it's kind of reward for the commitment and the effort you put into it before. And it's the same thing. You put enough on a table that when you weren't putting shit off of it, you could still eat enough to survive. Yeah. And then to come back and, it's still the same thing. And the fact that our bike night is there is no, that's an OG, don't talk. It's not a club. Yeah. It's not a fucking club. There's not 4 dudes on either corner of you, watching it out, so nobody's going to come approach. It's just not. It's still exactly how awesome it was when we started, except it's gotten better, and you've just got more people. That have come in, and it's. I mean, I couldn't be more proud of just being a part of it because it's still the. I'm convinced some dude could find it next week and show up and have a good time, and fucking Stu could show up next week and be heroes welcome. It's there. And that's a testament to all the people that started it and all the people that have shown up. You know what I mean? The Matt Van Burens and the Devins and I'm singing your praises of the day. Connor, what was the bar Dolly was working there when we switched it? They had the cool patio for a minute.
8 Bells.
8 Bells. Yeah. That was when I remember you starting to come. You might have been around a little bit more before that, but I was still some of the dude. Connor, my first remembering of Connor is coming when I guess you were on a second shift job. You were fairly close. He'd come on his lunch break at like 9:30 or 10 or whatever, chug a couple beers, make a couple jokes, and dip out. And I was like, who is this fucking cool guy? And next thing you know, he's doing trips, and he's a part of us.
He rode to down south with us.
Yeah, that's where we hung out a lot at that one. That was the first like extracurricular besides bike night, I think,
outside
for us. Yeah.
I mean, the original Anvil 8 tag, that's an affectionate, little footnote or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's no way a pass or you're above anybody. It's not, you know what I mean? It's because we've got so many dudes that weren't around. They just weren't around that time. It's not their fault. They just weren't there. But have been so instrumental and been so, a part of it since then that we're all,
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it's
bike night boys.
Because we're some bike night boys. Well, yeah, the concept is just it's simple. It's a good time, but yeah, I mean, like all that feeling of like being a part of something and being scared to step away and know that it's in good hands. Like there's a lot of different things that I think individuals that have been a part of our bike night and our scene here in Dallas probably have gone through those ways of like, like Stu was one of the OG originals, and there's a lot of guys that were like hanging out with us that when we kicked this whole thing off, that just completely just disappeared in the world. Sometimes James and I used to talk like, man, remember that dude? You think he died or something? Like we never got close enough to get phone numbers, but he was coming to bike night when we first started it, like heavy. Like, and he seemed like he would end up being one of the core guys. And then out of nowhere, he just stopped coming and he just fell off the face of the earth, and those kind of things happen. And it's like, the waves of like, when COVID hit and we had to find a new bar and it got a little shaky from this spot to that spot to this to that. You remember we were doing Christmas, at Anvil, we were fucking white elephant parties with bike night and, all those kind of things is like, I always want to see that continue to grow as new people come around. It's like, it's not that it's anybody's bike night, it's everyone's, you know what I'm saying? So it's like if everybody's always thinking like, what can we do to kind of keep this fucking wave from crashing to the shore, just keep it out there for a little longer, Yeah. Maybe it's a ride, maybe it's a camp out, maybe it's, dinner parties, that, whatever we can do to get people together outside of bike night to further those relationships.
And talking to people and convincing and selling the people at our bike night that, hey, you've been here once now. This is your bike night too.
Yeah.
Before, it wasn't. I'm glad you're here. Guess what? Now, motherfucker, you've been here.
Yeah.
If you like it, it's on you to bring people and to tell people. Dude,
Well,
I
it's
found
not,
something that's
not
cool.
so much that it's on them to bring it. It's just that like, yo, man, like just enjoy it.
Well, yeah, it's not
know?
like oh, this is on your shoulders, but it's, you found this, you didn't know this is awesome, right? Go bring somebody else. Go find, and if you don't, that's cool. But it's consistency and
Yeah.
it's
Show
a
up,
tendency.
have
Yeah,
you like
it's yeah.
Yeah.
Simple. It's not like a bike night. Like,
And people know about our bike night, like people that are in no way our scene niche or whatever. Like I don't know how. Every now and then it'll come up at the shop and it'll, that T-bar bike night in Dallas on Tuesday. Like I'm like, they're like, yeah, I've heard about it, I've seen it or whatever. Not everybody wants to go, but
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
there is.
yeah.
Like,
I work
there
with
is.
guys that have been like, man, I need to make it out to one of those, but they're older guys too. So he's like, man, I just gotta carve out a Wednesday so I can recover though. So
Yeah.
it's not like it's a big thing for them, but it is. Like they want to come out and do it, but they just,
Hey,
it's on their radar, but they're doing their own thing.
I think one of you guys was saying it earlier, but like we kind of, I think, not to be like woo woo or anything, but I think you find everything resonates when it's supposed to.
right. Right.
Like you've heard that song a million times, but all of a sudden you heard it going down the highway with the sun setting, and now it just fucking resonates. Or you've heard the song in the fucking album a million times, but hearing it live, it just resonates. So traveling on a motorcycle probably doesn't sound fun until all of a sudden you find yourself doing it and it resonates, or it's giving you that thing that, you're looking for in motorcycles. We've all talked about it. It's a very common thing. There's a very pattern-like thing that people do in motorcycles. And once they do the pattern or the steps, the very common steps of like, you get a bike, you do this, you do this. If they don't find that deeper connection out of it, they usually sell their bike, right? You buy a bike and for a while, you don't need anybody because it's the most amazing feeling in the world. Then you find somebody and that's amazing to share it with somebody. And then, maybe you can't ride every week. So maybe you're already like a weekend warrior kind of thing. Then it becomes, well, I don't really want to get too far out of town because I don't want to, I'm going to bar hop. And then you bar hop and then that gets boring. You start to want more. You start to do this. But your crowd is like not on the same page. So you feel weird to go out to find somebody new because you were kind of stoked that you found anybody to begin with, right? So there's all these things that kind of seems like we've all gone through that phase. You know, we've all done the bar hopping thing. And even though our bike night is at a bar and we technically do that, our trips, you know, as a group started at bike night. Our camp out started from conversations around a table at bike night. So bike night can be you getting drunk and fucked up, or it could be a place to share ideas and have conversations and get inspired to do some bigger things with your friends that also probably want to do big shit.
Yeah, it's the breeding ground for you growing and doing stuff, and that's all there is to it. You know, if you don't find somebody, that's what I was telling Chance. Like I said, he's kind of quiet, whatever. He's got his own sense of personality, and I was telling him, I was like, man, there's kind of a pot for every lid. And you'll find somebody. And if you find one dude and you do a trip, then it's worth it. Then it's all fucking worth it. And I think that's something we've talked about ad nauseum almost. It's something we have over kind of the club scene. It's not as intimidating, and there's not the prospecting, but at the same time, you're kind of held accountable. You're held accountable for what you do, and not in a people are going to bust your balls or whatever, but if you don't come all the time, you're just who are you? Yeah. Versus you can be a dude and you can take it all the way, you know, where you can, I keep using him. Vincent, we've got a solid cast of characters that have come in this second act, third act, whatever the fuck you want to call it, that are, I think I've told you before, they've inspired me, you know, kept me going. And it's just life hits everybody. And sooner or later it's going to hit you. I think it's just a testament to what we've built, that you may be on the back burner, you know, maybe going through it, but guess what? You got dudes. And then when you're not going through it, all of a sudden, man, I want to get back and, you know, be more there because I want to be there. Maybe I'm the guy that's going to go talk to this one dude that night. And if I'm not there, maybe he shows up. Fucking, you know. Yeah. And it's really, you know, drilling down to a microscopic level, but it's ours. It's ownership. And if you don't feel some sort of, I've never not gone and felt bad about it. I've had days where I'm like, fuck no, I'm not going. But I've on some level, there's like, I should. There's a duty. There's something there, without it being, this is my duty.
I've always said, like,
I'm the Secretary of Arms.
I've always said, like, you always want to go because you never know when you're going to need it.
Right.
And if you didn't go when you didn't need it, then it might not be there for you when you do need it. Does that make sense? That sounds like a lot of need it's, but you know,
anybody. I told you that night, Trey's chili cook-off.
Yeah.
Fuck, I had traffic. I ended up taking a different way. I forgot. I fucking forgot he even had the chili thing until I parked and walked into Cold Beer, and there's like 4 people there. I'm like, oh, you're not going to the chili thing? I was like, I figured it'd be over, but I honestly kind of forgot till I got here. And I told you, you know, that was whatever. Yeah, there was somebody there that needed to talk, and as much as I wish I would have been down there for Trey, like I was glad I was there for this dude to just hear, and you know, it's like, dude just need to talk sometimes, and you get a relationship. You know,
how many times have we all been at bike night? Just fucking, you know, when it was smaller and we could be a little more, you know, open about things in our life. And now it's so big.
You still can.
You still can here.
I'll pull him off, and we'll go to that kind of side patio, or I mean, anybody can do that, but you really hit a thing where you never know when you're gonna need it. Yeah, and that doesn't mean you're going, oh, I need to fucking bitch about life to my friends, but just all of a sudden you get there, and maybe you are holding it together. You're fucking making it through the day. You don't realize it, but it's just that getting there and not thinking about the bullshit for an hour, for 2 hours, whatever. I mean,
that's more.
You know, it's not going to solve your problems, but it's just the best fucking distraction for
for a while. And I mean, there's lots of great conversations. I've been inspired, motivated, things like that. But yeah, just keeping in mind, like everything in life, right? Anytime something's good, you probably don't think to, you know, continue to water the grass when it's green as hell, right? But it's like you need to keep doing it because the next day it might not be as green, and you're like, oh, it's not a big deal. And then all of a sudden it's way past like repair or whatever the fuck, right? Maybe not the best analogy, but
don't remind me, dude.
Yeah.
Resod your lawn, you fuck.
But you know, like it exists every week because, you know, like it needs to be a part. To me, it's for 7 years, it's been a part of my existence in Dallas on a motorcycle. I'm not saying I haven't been every week. I mean, I've definitely missed weeks, but usually if I'm here and I don't have something pressing going on, I have no excuse not to go.
Right.
So I go. And I mean, like I said, I don't always want to go there and get fucked up. And usually that's the only thing that makes me to where I'm like, I don't know if I want to go to bike night tonight because I don't really want to be tempted to drink.
Yeah.
That's about the only other times I'm like, even though when I say tempted to drink, it's not anybody else's fault. It's my own,
Right,
my own
yeah.
connection to that.
It's a habit.
When I said it a long time ago, like when I would watch Ted Lasso and they would go to the pub and they would put a fucking pint of beer in there. It's like, I don't even know what beer that is, but I fucking want one right now so bad.
Because
it's like,
going to that bar or pub, it's not even about that beer. It's just like,
it's a
fucking,
vibe. It's
it feels good just to fucking have a nice beer at a fucking dive bar and fucking.
How many
homies
places like
around.
that have we across the country we had a beer like that? And it was like, this beer right now is why I want to go to bike night every week. You know what I mean? Because fuck, man, like, it all starts somewhere. And, like now trying to get some of the new guys to want to do some bigger trips, that's kind of my own personal challenge. Like, how do I get these guys who kind of missed the first opportunities to now like want to do the things that we all did as a group, but on their own accord and, whatnot. And sometimes you got to have, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like when I started bringing up traveling, because this is what I did with my bike club before we started bike night.
I remember all that.
And so like, I'm like, hey guys, you guys ever think about just doing some bike trips? Like you want to go do some cool shit? And I'm like, I'm trying to get you guys, it wasn't hard. I mean, I think it all worked out so well because everybody was already looking for that. Right. And it was just like a perfect alignment of the stars or alignment of the planets or whatever the fuck you'd say.
Well,
good luck with that.
You had previous experience, but most of us didn't. This was kind of our first thing into that. And it was kind of lightning in a bottle. All of us, personality, the fact that we all mesh so fucking well, and then we're all doing this thing at the same time. That I don't know. I can't speak for you, but I would assume it was almost like doing it again. Reinvigorating to you to see people doing something for the first time, and these guys are loving it. Like,
yeah, I mean, you don't have to do much to you don't have to twist my arm very hard or even at all to get me to want to ride to California. I can do it once a quarter and be stoked every time. But the thing is, like, I know that once people experience that kind of stuff, like this dude's traveled. He's done he did the down south camp out. He did his own personal trip through Colorado last year. He's done trips.
hey, you just did one with the wife.
Yeah,
a couple months ago. It was awesome.
So it's not that they have never traveled before or done this. I mean, Steve, but it's like they haven't got to experience it the way we do it. And I'm trying to, the same way I experienced it with my club and I brought that to you guys, and then it created a new vibe. I'm trying to take that vibe and show these guys that, and then it'll create another new vibe.
Yeah. And in the meantime, the whole group just gets better and stronger.
I mean, think about it. Like, you got a couple, obviously we can't all be a part of every expedition going out, but how cool is it, like, the years that we all did Sturgis and everybody in America came to Sturgis and partied at Days Inn with us? Like that first year was all the Arkansas guys got together and came out, and the stragglers all over the country, the RDs and the other guys that would just show up there. And it was just like, fuck, man, like we kind of own this campground right now.
It was surreal.
Yes.
Again, I hate, it was like a fucking movie.
Yeah.
It was for people that were riding solo a year or two before that didn't think of it, thought, if I ever got friends that I got to go the fucking club route, whatever. I mean, it says, and it, like I said, it's winning the lottery.
Yeah.
For just to have that option. I mean, Dudes, and that's one of his things. There's a lot of people that Chance said it the other day. I didn't know this existed.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't say we take it for granted, but all of a sudden it's there and it's there.
Yeah.
And that's the new people is one of those things that I try to, somebody else is going to fall in love with this. And you want to be there for that. You want to see, I'm happy when I see people travel, out of the group. There's never any hate on it. I want to do every trip with everybody, but I can't. And I know some people have to do their own thing. I've got trips with certain people where we've done 1,000 miles in 24 hours. Trey, I've got little things, and I don't know, you go through them, or you forget about them, and all of a sudden you realize, fuck, I've done some cool stuff with some cool people. That's kind of why I'm looking at getting back down to like those personalized memories and stuff. And it's, you know, the campout's this big thing, and that's cool. But man, making somebody else's, I don't want to say making their day or whatever, but that spark, igniting that where they realize like, fuck, I can do this. You know,
it's all achievable. It's within reach. It's not something that you have to put on a pedestal of like financially. Oh, there's no way I could ever afford to go travel across the country on a motorcycle. Like, no, dude. Like, let us show you how this works. It's not that complicated, you know.
There's a bunch of fucking dorks though. Work has pressured me in. Like when I first started, oh, you need to be in all these writing groups on Facebook. I was like, I fucking hate them. I think I'm in a DFW New Writers or something, and it's sometimes a daily exercise not to be mean to people or be a smartass or whatever. And it's not just the,
but just think,
not the, hey, first bike, I'm just looking. It's not. There's certain people that it's like they're trying to be a leader but playing it safe. I don't know. I can't.
Well, think about it. Like everybody, they get a new bike, right? And they're looking for a way to connect with people. It sucks when some people are finding groups like that are full of pretentious, egotistical assholes that are like trying to be the king of the small little, you know. It's like a new riders group, and there's a dude that's been riding for 40 years, and he's the shaman for everybody, right?
Yeah, he's just trying to be.
I think of the king from the role play or role models when the Asian guy's the king.
Yeah,
of the LARPing.
That's the same dude, little Asian guy from Hangover.
Yeah,
trying not to get you, Dr. Kim or Dr. Kim Jong.
Ken Jong.
So, but I mean, just think about it. Like someone buys a bike, and then they go and they jump in one of those group chats, or they go on a really, just they got a shitty hog chapter with those dudes are just super asshole like, you know.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think sometimes we maybe forget or whatever that there's people that don't know shit.
Yeah,
and we're, you know, this is fucking our universe and we're your standards and whatever. But there's people that literally they don't know anything other than jump on Facebook and go do this. Where you want to go, hey, just go ride. You'll find people, you know.
Yeah.
But I've been there before. I know how, you know, you're riding alone, but then when you want to ride with somebody else, it's intimidating to just walk up.
I was talking to Ramon because we had drove down to Austin.
Love you, baby boy.
We were driving together down to the cruisy deal at Cowboy Harley, and we were talking. And he was like, "Yeah," because Blockhead was going to be there, and I just never really got into the dude's content because at first it was like, and then I come to find out he's an awesome guy, but like, I think he started riding like 17, and he just documented the entire experience through his YouTube channel. So as he was learning how to ride bikes and do all this stuff, he was building an audience. And Ramon was like, yeah, like that's the channel I was watching early on, learning what's what and this. And then he's like, then I met all you guys. And I'm like, oh shit, I can just ask these guys what kind of exhaust I should go with, or what about this trip or whatever. So it's like that channel gave him like the basics or the connection to the motorcycle world until he found us. And then we have carried the torch since, if that makes sense.
No.
So YouTube is like a place where a lot of new riders actually go there to find something like what we have, or maybe not like we have, but like they find a connection to someone that's doing something that's easily digestible, and it becomes their first impressions of the motorcycle world. Because I mean, you can't, like the Polaroid video I put out, that's not really the kind of content that YouTube wants to be put out there, but I mean, to me, like that's the kind of that's what it is. That's the reality. If you like to party a little bit, then that exists. You could jump on a bike and ride 200 miles and rage for a night, and then go home the next day and be like, it's that simple. You
could ride 200 miles and go to bed early and get up the next morning and leave.
Exactly.
You don't have to do anything.
You don't have to do the party aspect. You don't. Right. I mean, there's over time, there's always been plenty of people that come to things like that. If you're struggling to stay off of doing, drinking and stuff like that, then it's probably not the best idea. But if you're content with like your sobriety, bro, we have a lot of people that come around that don't feel tempted to drink and do stuff like that.
Yeah, again, this isn't a club.
We're not like, hey, dude, if you want to hang out with us, you have to do this.
There's no hazing. There's no initiation. You know, you're sober, vegan, whatever the fuck. I don't care, dude. Are you cool? Do I enjoy talking to you for 5 minutes? Do you get on my nerves? That's it. And everything else goes from there.
Yeah.
I guess that's why I'm just such a big fan of it, because you can't money whip your way into it. You can come there with a fucking $200,000 bike. Guess what? If you suck, you suck. Everybody's going to pick up on it, and it's going to show. You can show up on a $2,000 clapped out, whatever the fuck. If you're rad, nobody cares. In fact, the clapped out bike will make you cooler, because it's just, this guy's so wild, Duncan, whatever the fuck. You know, it's
fucking Duncan. Dude.
But it's
That fucking Duncan.
I just brought up a name.
I know. Playing on it.
Kenny, like, he rode that old.
Oh, yeah, he rode that old Fat Boy.
Like the bike that nobody in our entire group wanted for any fucking reason ever.
Yeah.
But Kenny's a rad ass dude. I can't think of anybody that doesn't.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like,
Fucking rip that.
No, Kitty doesn't show up, and everybody goes, fuck.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But I don't know. Just
Really quick, why are you bleeping gay and retarded?
because he just did it. He said it.
Yeah.
Are we not supposed to?
I didn't think so.
You could say gay. You just, I don't know.
Is it a monetization thing?
Well,
Timestamp it.
sometimes when you,
you said retard like 45 minutes in.
I know you gotta timestamp. I was unaware. I'm old school Fast Life podcast on the YouTubes.
Hard R's all the way around.
Dude, F's all of it. Like, we don't give a shit around here. But I noticed 2 from you, and I was just like,
You
This is
fucking
not-
Nick. Oh, you know I was gonna do it.
I'm so fucked. That's why, yeah.
We're all holding you back, Jace.
Yeah. It was like when we were at the Polar Ride, I was trying to get.
Who's doing the adjustments on this one, huh?
On what?
The fucking time stamping it and all that stuff. If we gotta take them out, I'm gonna do less of them. For sure.
I'll do less of them.
Nobody showed
Or
me
none
how
of
to
them.
timestamp anything. So
Yeah, no,
we're freeballing it today.
Usually when it's like a rager drunk one, I'll have to listen back to it, and that edit of a podcast takes forever.
I'll be more mindful.
But no, it's like when we did the Polar Ride video. It's like
I know. I'm
trying to like get some context from everybody to carry like from this spot to this spot to this to that. And yeah, it's like you wanted, and
I get it too. I listening to more podcasts now. I notice it's more bleeped because if it demonetizes it, then what the fuck's the point of even having to do it? So I get it. So
it's not just the demonetization. It's like when you get you get a strike or whatever, they don't push the video out. Period. Therefore, it doesn't even get seen or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like staying away from those things just to not even be in the situation. It's like, all right, well, if I make this video where we're not cussing in the first 30 seconds or minute or whatever it is, then that helps feed the algorithm or feed the video to the algorithm that'll go to more people. But if you have all these like strikes against your whatever, it's like they're not going to push that video out. It still exists, but it's not going to go out. And then that defeats the purpose.
for sure.
So
Speaking about strikes against you, Mr. 2147
Crew.
dude edited out the best part of his GoPro video from the Polar Ride.
Oh, the nuts?
Yeah.
I got the video of that too. I mean, I thought
I
about
wanted
it
it to go on his page.
Oh,
Your viewers have probably seen him before. I wanted a whole dude. You should have seen his face.
Dude, that shit was so-
I go, is this going on YouTube? He goes, yeah. I go, hey, they were already out. He just never noticed. I was like, hey. He's like it wasn't like if I took yours, it was like, oh.
Yeah, I think with that video, I really just wanted to.
I need to talk to him. Actually,
He's cool, yeah.
I've never actually met him or anything.
Yeah, he's done the podcast before. He's actually going to do it probably here pretty soon again, especially now that he's at Daytona right now. Get like, hey, so I was Daytona. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's like that's the fine line with like making like YouTube content, because I can't make hey, this is how you change your oil on your bike. Like I just can't do that. It's not something that I want to do. It's like I'm not inspired to do that. But like we've been talking about all night is like this world that we live in. How do I show people that? Right? How do I show them that without it feeling like all we do is get fucked up and drink Because, I mean, it's not all we do. It's part of what we do.
For sure, yeah.
But it's like, that's why I hate that I don't have like all the footage or all of it from all these things we've done over the last 7 years. You know, I'll buy a GoPro before we go on a trip and I'll kind of do something. And then I don't know, this is stupid. You know, I kind of have almost all of our Pacific Northwest trip on like clips where I could probably make something out of it. But I'm not really there yet, like with the whole voiceover, you know, like, hey guys, welcome to the show.
Dude. It's,
you know, like
I understand what you're saying. You're not there. You're kind of there, dude.
I don't know.
It's good.
Well, you don't feel it, you know, like that's my biggest hurdle right now is just getting over it. Every video that goes out, I'm not going to have shot it the most perfect way. I'm not going to have the perfect like statements to go in there to make it a real like, you know, I'm not Martin Scorsese or how the fuck you say his name. Like I'm
Scorsese, yeah.
I can't. I'm not going to be doing that. Like I need to stop thinking like. The problem is that I try to do everything the best that I can, and I always feel like I could do something better. And so I get in my head, I'm like, man, I don't want to put that out because I feel like
we don't put anything out.
Exactly.
So yeah.
So and that's kind of like it's a blessing and a curse because it's a blessing because in a lot of areas. It's why certain parts of my brand are where it's at right now. Without that mentality, I'd have probably plateaued and stayed in the same spot. But then it also hinders you. That's why it's easier to kind of like learn and grow before you have eyes on you. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So like when you have a podcast and it gets to the point where it has, and then you decide to start doing YouTube videos and you suck at it, but you're kind of okay at this, it's kind of hard to suck at something publicly. You know, and not be in your head sometimes.
Yeah, I see that, but at the same time, to just be devil's advocate, I would say for people that consume one part of your content and then to see you start, you know, kind of start over and work up, that's we've all talked about, you know, watching stuff where, man, you go back and watch the first one, it was terrible, but that's, you know, that's always cool. People love it. And there's a lot of people that love going through that journey with you and love watching you grow. It sounds weird, feels weird, but there's people that enjoy that shit.
I think I've made a goal. My goal is to, and I think I'll be able to do more than what my goal is, but my goal is to at least do one video a month. It'd be nice to do 2 videos a month. And I guess in my head, I'm trying to structure everything to be like, because if I do 2 videos a month by the end of the year, I'll be proficient with it. It'll be like this podcast. It's up and running in 5 minutes. You know what I mean? I've been here in this before. I know how to I know what I need to show people. So I'm not sitting here trying to think about what to say or what to show. I can just do it. And I'm capturing everything. I have enough footage at home to put a story together. I mean, the hard part about the Polaroid video was like, how do I show the partying to where it's still, you're connecting to people? Us 3 together. Hey, what Polaroid is this? Is it the 5th? And then everybody knew what we were doing, right? Like we're all playing the Dave Chappelle skit, right? And even though like that's nonsense, I didn't tell you anything, like you didn't learn anything right there, right? It was just good fun, but it carried some verbal conversation into the next clip, which is us going to the next bar, which had another little verbal thing with Rennie and Chungus, Big Chungus, and then it goes into like the whole party skit, like we're dancing, we're partying, blah 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 blah. And so to me, it's like trying to find a way to tell the story to make it entertaining, but not too much of anything. Not having 5 minutes of writing the same angle, the same shot, to where it's like, okay, I'm kind of bored with this already. It's just enough to show you what we're doing, give you some context of what happened on the way to the Polaroid. The only thing that I struggled with is I didn't film enough at the bar where I finally met up with everybody.
Bayou Thunder?
Yeah. And it's like I got those first clips of like y'all walking up and you're like, Jaden already dumped his nuts out, blah, blah, blah. It's like those were good like state, but I didn't really have a good angle of the camera. I didn't really get anything. I did a walk through the whole place and put the camera up. And I wish I would have captured more. And sometimes you got to go up to someone and go, hey, say or ask you a question that gets you to put something on the table. You know what I mean? And being mindful of all that while also being there to enjoy it.
Fun.
Yeah. Take it naturally.
Same thing. I kind of was like, I'm going camera dry or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Like I'm living in the moment. I'm rarely, I did, and I regretted it.
Yeah.
I've done that enough now where I'm living in the moment, and
Yeah.
there's a healthy medium
Yeah, for sure.
in taking 2 pictures the whole weekend and living behind your screen the whole weekend trying to make the perfect reel or whatever. There's somewhere in the middle, but at the end of the day, I mean, none of us are vying for a YouTube Oscar.
Yeah.
I'm the king of not sharing because I overthink it and whatever. And I was thinking about this earlier, actually. Just you start doing it for me. What do I give a fuck? Like you said, if somebody doesn't like it, do you have the balls to say it to my face or whatever? Know what I mean? If you do, what do I care? I'm doing this shit so in 20 years when I have dementia, I can look back and remember our New York trip. I'm not because of what some faggots, some dude in South Lake thinks of it or whatever. You know what I mean? Like and obviously you deal with that infinitely more than I do, but that's something I'm starting to get to is don't quit overthinking it. Yeah. It doesn't have to be good. It's not going to be good. You're going to have some jokes, sporting, whatever you do. You're going to have some home runs. You're going to have some pop flies.
Yeah, it's literally just in my own head. It's literally just a battle all the time of thinking, how can I be more intentional with everything I do so that at least, like I'm sitting on this Indian ride footage, right? And I want to put together a video for it. I mean, they paid for me to come out there. They fed me. They put liquor in me. They put me on a bike. They took rad photos and video of me riding these bikes, and they flew me to fucking Milwaukee
Where
afterwards.
did they touch you, though?
Everywhere.
Hell yeah.
But they
got their
this.
money's worth then.
So I feel like I owe them my thoughts, my not so much a review, just my experience on them.
Yeah.
And so now that all the other guys that were there, which was intimidating at first, right? Being there with all these other, Adam Sandoval and all these guys that make content, like their whole life, they wake up and think about making YouTube videos. I wake up and go paint a bike, and then I go home, and then I do a podcast, and I'm like, all right, I got a couple hours. I'm going to edit a video or start one, whatever, So now that I saw their videos, I saw what they did. I'm like, okay, I didn't do any of that. I mean, I don't have that. So I was like, what do I have? How can I show value in this situation in a perspective of where I'm coming from? And so I kind of know where I want to go with it, but now I need to think, how do I put it? Because I'm going to have to film myself sitting right here. He goes, all right, guys, I did this Indian trip. Here's what I think, and then start into this whole thing and actually have something to say. Cause this isn't a party video.
Right.
The problem is I've filmed me partying the whole fucking time. So it's like, I always have that content good. I've kind of redacted, maybe that's the way I would put it, my thoughts of putting a camera on my chin mount and having that POV look. Because now I'm like, okay, I still like having all the other angles, but if I at least got that angle, I have some context of like riding footage. I always have it. You know what I mean? So it's like, fuck it. It's not my favorite. Yeah, it's something. Stuff. But yeah, that's all I'm getting at. Is like I have this thing, but I think I owe it to myself and the people that invested in me, in a sense, to give them the best thing that I can possibly put together with my skills on all fronts. And so that's what I'm working on. So that video to me, it's like, by the time before I even got home from Milwaukee, most of those folks already had a video edited and put on the table, and it's out, right? Here I am still twirling my thumbs trying to figure out like the best intro and the best way to write. I'm going to go home eventually this week coming up, and I'll write everything I felt and thought and think and read it and try to understand it, and then try to get to the point where, like when I'm doing a thing and I need to talk about something, I typically will have notes, but I try not to read it because I have a voice, I have a sound when you're reading it, and I have a sound when I'm just talking normal. And then talking normal is what people will really connect with, as opposed to like the ad read. All right, guys, I went to, and period. Wait, what word is that? So that's the overthinking it, but it's also like overthinking the overthinking doesn't help either. I know what I want to do. I have the direction, and I'll do it whenever it'll come out. But I need to just be less in my head in the process of capturing things and get more comfortable with the space of shooting and then editing and creating. You know what I mean? And then it's just a time thing.
But that's the same thing you do just talking on a microphone.
Exactly. It's just when, like I said, on the microphone, the podcast, it's just words, right? In a video, it's words. It's all the other things that go along with it. So you're like, fuck, man, like.
Yeah, but man, I I watched
It
it,
becomes more nonchalant.
looked at a lot of the tags of some of those people, and obviously Adam, we know. I'm not trying to just be a hater. I don't identify with, or I hate that term, but I don't. A lot of those influencers, I don't relate to. I guess I don't give a fuck. Even if they're just, hey, I'm kind of a fucking regular person, whatever. Like, that's cool. I don't know, man. There's something about those people. 99% of them that it turns me off. I don't like it. I feel like it's somebody that you're the housewife that got a little traction on TikTok and now you think you're a fucking influencer. It's one of those things where maybe I'm being a cunt because I've done cooler shit than some of these people. I've done realer shit. I'm cooler. I'm fucking more than a lot of these people. It's like, how did this? You got some traction somewhere. You're somebody's little pet or whatever. That's cool. And I'm not trying to hate on them. Like, I'll have your fucking thing, but there is something about I'm an influencer where you're nobody. You're fucking nothing, and it's just ride. And I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Devin and I were kind of talking about
such
that.
a fucking
asshole,
but
it does feel like that, and people do feel like that, and that's. And
my thing is, I don't care about the guy that was a fucking realtor and all of a sudden started riding, and somehow he's whatever. Because like I said, I watch their content and it's just generic.
Well, I've been saying this for a long time. Most of the people that are very successful with making YouTube videos, and I don't mean this to be a dig. They were already kind of good at videos and in that world, and they found motorcycles as a way to kind of like as their outlet. Yeah, not all of them, right? But a lot of them did, and it was just good. And now their relationship to motorcycles is largely on the back of the fact that they have a YouTube channel that opens the door for them to do a lot of things. And they have a certain cadence to themselves that tracks well with their audience. And so when you have a guy like myself who is wilder for sure and not as PC as a lot of people and has lots of incriminating conversations on a podcast that people can bring back and misconstrue and turn into like some crazy shit. I got to find a way to be my own authentic self, in this space, but give like the YouTube world that consumes motorcycle content, they kind of are used to a certain way of getting it, right? And so when you have certain people come in to show their own flavor, it's so different than what they're used to. They're kind of rejected a little bit.
But I feel like what they're used to in large part sucks.
But that's the thing. That's why it's like, my what I've been saying forever, and I even said this to the Harley guys when I talked to them, was like, what you're seeing now is you're seeing more people in the custom motorcycle world and in the motorcycle world in general start to get into YouTube to show their life in it. And that's where right now they're Billy Lanes, right? Or they're Thrash and Supplies. Like these guys that are killing it, right? That are now getting better at making videos. So they had the content. They just didn't have the way to share the content. And now they're sharing the content well, and it's those channels that are rising to the top, But like a She Rides Moto or is that her name?
It's something like that. I know.
I mean, the girl like she hustles, I saw her fucking script for not her script, but her bullet points of all the shots she needed to get for this deal. Like it's professional work that they're doing. It's just that they're making it in a way that's palatable to that type of audience. The same way like every movie that comes out isn't. They're not. This is a style. This is a musical. There's people like musicals, right? There's this and that. So it's like my thing is how do I give people actual substance in the video, but showcase the life the fun part of it, Because I'm not gonna ever be the guy that's gonna sit there and have a debate on like why he's like you need to take those shoes off if you're gonna ride across country and put some boots on. Like fuck off, dude. You know what I mean? I'll fucking vlog my fucking foot coming off this bitch. You know what I'm saying? Let's go. I'll trend it up next year on another bike, peg legging it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I want to be that, but I don't want to be an asshole. But I want the content to speak. I want you to be able to watch something that I make and feel it and understand it and know that it's real and know that it's not some fake, like put together thing to kind of sell you something.
And that's what I feel like most of the stuff that I see, who's he out there with? Look at their stuff. And I feel like it's mostly stuff like, and I don't have a defense as far as what's the dividing line? How real do you have to be? I don't know. It's a gut feeling, and there's certain stuff I don't. That's cool. You're good at making videos. I don't care about
there
your.
was
your,
a
your
dude that was there with you. When I first got into Harleys, I was looking for like the simplest videos: how to change your oil, how to do this, that, whatever the fuck.
Law-abiding biker,
dude. That's who I'm talking about, dude.
Me and him talked a lot.
I saw you talking to him. I was like, dude, that's funny that you're talking to that guy. Because at first I was like, I watched one of his videos and he got on there and I was like, ooh, that's a little cringy, the way he presented himself. However, the fucking info he gave for like the thing I was watching the video for was fucking great.
On point,
like,
yeah.
I learned how to fucking do whatever the fuck it was I was doing to my bike. And
yeah, I got a master class
that's a
with
very helpful video. Like that's awesome. So like, there's different ways to do these videos. So if you're doing that, like showing how to fucking work on a motorcycle or whatever, or if you're just the influencer you're talking about, where it's like just came out of fucking left field. It's like I used to be a fucking softballer. Now I'm a fucking motorcycle person now or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like at least I don't know. But if the video's good, cool. If you're producing great content like she rides, if she's doing fucking, putting in the fucking work, then fucking
hundreds of thousands of people subscribe to her channel, and thousands of people watch the video. So like to me, it's like instead of comparing like, oh well, my content's gonna be better. It's like no, my content's not gonna be better, but I'm gonna try to make the best thing I can. Right. When I did in 23, when I made the videos and did all that shit, the vlog thing I was trying to do, I wanted to be better in some form or fashion on every video, like whether it was the things I captured, the things I was saying. And I felt like at the end of the year, I was pretty proud of the videos that were starting to come out.
Yeah.
And then last year was it was hectic. I was kind of putting too much emphasis on this 7-week trip. My whole life was kind of like, I felt like everything was on hold until that trip was done. And then once the trip was over, then I was like, oh shit, I can breathe. Like I'm back to having fun again. But I was so pent up. It's like going to jail for 2 weeks and not jerking off or something like that. It's like, you're just like, I'm ready to release all this stuff, but I got to do this thing that I said to the world I was going to do. Probably not the best analogy.
That's the beauty of jail. You don't have to jerk off. It gets done for you.
I was about to say, there's different ways. There's people that fucking save that shit for the end. There's people over here that fucking let her rip, dude. It don't matter. You can find a way, baby.
Yeah. But I mean, now that like, I don't know, finding a comfortable way of doing it. And there's still a lot of anxiety that goes into it. Like, just pulling out a camera at bike night is still hard. You know what I mean? Like, oh, hey guys, so here we are. This is T-Bar Tuesday. That's hard to do. It doesn't matter if you're all my friends or not. It's always hard to do. Yeah. And until it's not hard to do, it's always going to be hard to make videos for me.
And hard to find content to keep because of
and it's like
none of us know what's on camera. Most of us are just gonna say
I have a slur. I have much more. I just have a lot more sympathy and respect for the people that do make YouTube videos now that I've been in enough scenarios where I see how like what it takes. You know what I mean? And so if someone's doing something, they're literally like the videos aren't good or they're not this or they're making it on their phone, whatever. Like I still have a level of respect because I'm like, you're still fucking doing it and you're going to get better. I know that I'll get better if I keep doing it, but it's also like, fuck, it's a lot of work. I mean, that shop tour video was 36 hours I spent on that video. Doesn't mean it's not like the most amazing thing in the world, but I spent 36 hours making sure that I tried to tell as much as I can in a concise amount of time, without it feeling like a how-to video, with also giving some context as to how I got to this shop and why I'm in this shop and why we built the studio and, why I set my shop up. Like I wanted there to be some kind of value to come from it and also a history lesson of like how I got here and how I got into this, right? And so when you film those talking head parts, I would like have like not a script, but like an outline of what I need to say. And I would try to read it and memorize it, but then I would try to just do my own inflections of like the thing, but I would do it 4 times. in hopes that in those 4 times I would get enough or something that I can use. And since it's on a tripod, my background's not changing. So I could actually take a sentence from one of the 4th ones and put it on one of the first ones and then make it sound coherent, right?
Right.
And so that's what takes a long time, is like making sure it all sounds right. And then once you get all the talking head shit done, then you start bringing all the B-roll in to try to add layers to it so that it doesn't just have me sitting here for fucking 15 minutes going, so then I did this, and then I did that, and then I did this, and then I did that, and there's no context to be seen by it, right? So, like I said, it's intentional. Everything on that video is intentional. And I want to be intentional in everything I make, but it's still, I just can't allow myself to just throw some shit out there for the fuck of it. So it might not be the best thing anybody's ever seen, but that's the best I could do with what I had for that video. And I made sure to put in the time.
It's a good standard to have. And I don't know if everybody, if there's people that throw shit out there more, just more than they should. And who fucking knows what's right, what's wrong. It's
Like
the
said,
time I start
you got to
bitching
find a
about,
happy medium. And
time I start bitching about social media, other people is about the time. I say, I got these opinions.
Yeah.
Pull up a mirror, shut the fuck up. Either do your own thing, or do nothing.
Yeah.
That's really what it boils down to.
I'm
too,
the worst.
Is like, I can sit there and take it in, and you know what I mean. I can watch these videos and stuff like that, but I'm not like
320. Okay.
We're at 320
for real. All right.
Well, yeah. I'm just saying it's one thing to be a consumer and another thing to be a creator and that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah. Yeah, the consumer is, your armchair quarterbacking.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And that's why I was saying, like, going and being around all them, especially law-abiding. Like I said, I got a master class sitting next to him at the dinner, and we hit it off, and we talked, and, now he's like, dude, if you come through, Washington, dude, let's sit down, let's drink some beers, let's do a podcast, let's eat. Definitely not a different dude than his videos, but it's more of who he is in real life. And does that make sense? Like, the video is like you're getting a part of this person.
I haven't seen one of his videos, to be fair, in like 5 years.
Yeah.
So this is when I was very first getting into it. So it was still early YouTube shit too. So I probably didn't go back.
We
and watch
talked.
his videos. But he was like I said, it was just like it was kind of one of those like dad sunglasses, backwards hat, folded arms kind of thing.
Yeah.
I was just like, but. The fucking information in the video was fucking tits, dude. It fucking pulled me out of whatever the fuck I was working on. It helped me out.
So what he does that's actually is pretty cool is that he does these, like, kind of like how we did our long trips. He does that with his boys, but he got to a point where where they'll do every year. He puts like a 2-hour video out of some trip they did.
See, I asked
him, I was like, so how? I was like, how did you get everybody on board? Like, it's kind of everybody's vacation. Right. But how did you get it to where? And he's like, well, once they started coming and they realized what we can create if we all work together and they helped me make this video. It's like, yeah, we're still riding bikes cross country. We're still having fun in these bars and seeing these badass places. But now they're helping me capture it better. Therefore, they also get to show their family, like, I was a part of that. Like, like I was filming him right here, or there's more. They can tell their story of their perspective of what happened. So you have that going on, and I think that's pretty cool in my opinion. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's awesome. I think that's a big part of what we had. I know on the big trip, and I know at one point, I don't know if it was Beartooth, there was somewhere where you're like, man, I feel bad, guys. Like, we just took some pictures and stopping 10 minutes later, but I found another place. And if I remember correctly, we were all in unison. Stop 100 fucking times if you want. Because again, we all in some way, benefit from it. If nothing else, I'm just happier, this is how this dude pays his bills.
Yeah,
I'm happy for my friend to be able to work.
We're not trying to get anywhere fast.
But yeah, it's one of those things that's how everybody was, if I remember. Dude, stop it. When you're getting shit, if you need anything, get it. This isn't one of those, he's holding us up. No, it's just, so that's awesome for him. And the whole reason
Bar's getting shut down either way. Whether we show up there at 8 or 10, we're shut down.
Years ago, some video I was probably nerding out on trying to do something. It came up. I didn't know he was there. That's the reason I brought his actual name up. But I've watched him on a handful of things. Law-abiding biker guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to specifically call him. I didn't realize he was with the Indian.
That's funny.
I thought Kyle was gonna get mad. Like, he's one that.
No, not at all, man. Like I said, it's one of those things where at first maybe, but then you fucking go down the road. You're just kind of like, oh fuck, dude. Who the fuck am I to say, dude?
Yeah.
I get to go to work, check out that motherfucker, and not even think about it. They can suck my dick when I leave.
Yeah.
But whenever your hobby is your job, dude, that's a fucking different. That's a different game, dude. Like it's tough. It's hard. It's hard as a guy who enjoys it as a hobby, to let alone someone that has to make fucking money off that shit. It can be tough.
Yeah. I mean, definitely not something you want to woe is me about, but. Look, the way you can complain about your job, I can complain about the things that I have to do sometimes.
Right.
And it might seem like, oh, this dude's ungrateful. And I mean, yeah, I definitely can be.
Trust me, there's plenty of those guys at my job that have it just as easy as me.
You know,
that complain. I mean, they just enjoy complaining.
Yeah.
There's those people.
And I've definitely, I'm definitely a complainer. Like I feel like there's like, I don't want to be, I definitely want to be better at it. But like complaining to me sometimes is like hearing that thought out loud, and it helps you like be like, you know what, I don't know if I really believe that or not. Mm-hmm. Now that I've heard it outside of my head, stupid. Or like I said, it get a little bit of complaining to your friends about what's going on might help find a connection.
Venting.
Yeah, venting.
There's a healthy level of venting that I think everybody needs to do to keep a little sane, circle of trust.
But if that's all you do, as soon as you get together with people, that becomes like a negativity.
That's the old saying. If you wake up in the morning and you meet an asshole, you met an asshole that day. If you wake up in the morning and everybody you meet throughout the day is an asshole, guess what? You're probably the asshole. It's not everybody you come across. It's you.
Yeah.
So that's all there is to it. I mean, there's always venting, but if you're just find something, you're not happy, dude. Look inside, figure something out. Go jerk off.
Look inside. All right, let's roll. Thanks, guys. Quaint Zone, back at it, 2025.
Yeah.